Yes, people, good morning to you all. I hope you can hear me. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, but more importantly, blue morning to you because, in fact, it is the Blue Morning Show. Today, we'll talk about transfers and we'll talk about the debut of the wonder kid, Mykhailo Mudryk, what the performance it was from him, and we'll talk about other topics. There ain't too much to talk about today, but for sure, I know you guys will bring some topics that you'd like us to talk about. But we'll compare Malo Gusto to with what's his name again, Denzel Dumfries, and come to a sensible conclusion as to which of the two players will be better suited for the club's current project. So if you're watching, if you haven't, take a second, drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate all the support. Let's try and get it to 8,000, 9,000 subscribers as soon as possible. I know we're capable of doing that, but only if you feel like we can. Let's get into it. Like you're seeing again, a Manchester United fan here. Just give me 1 second. This is Arsenal versus Manchester United. We lost again the Casemiro. We lost Sancho. Arsenal should benefit. That what you think? 3-2 win Arsenal. Let's see what happens. A fan United Arsenal should overdo us. We'll see what happens. Blue Morning, Kachila Panel and chat says Leon Lane, the captain of the house. Big up to you, bro. I hope you're doing well. Yes, guys, please like and subscribe when you enter as it helps the channel reach a wider audience. Thank you so much for all the support. I cannot thank you enough. Please, if at any time, again, I see Lamlin saying the sound is good, but if at any time it goes wrong, let me know immediately, and hopefully I'll see it in time and stop myself because I know how irritating that can be. But that's, by the way, that's yep. So, sorry. It says gusto all day long. We'll talk about it, and you tell us. Can you elaborate? I do really want to hear why you choose again. Why you say again? You prefer gusto to Denzel. Because I want to know again if you elaborate to help us. It will go a long way, really. Happy Sunday to all the Blues fans around the world. Happy Sunday to you too, Joseph Agbo. I hope you're doing well. Sounds good, Kachila. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I'll wait for you if you have any other thing to talk. If not, we'll start talking about the topics we have one by one. I'll start talking about Youssoufa Moukoko. First, I'd argue we don't need him, and I still think even if we're still available, I'd still say again we don't need him. There's one player, yep, he's had controversies, some controversy about his age. Some say he's 21, some say he's 18. So yeah, but that one has been swept under the rug. But that's, by the way, when I said I watched his highlights, it just seemed a bit clumsy to me. Like I said, when I watch him, I see, you could say, I get the Mishi Bashwai vibes. But notwithstanding, again, as I would say, the truth is we don't need them. We have Amanda Broya who's out injured. We have Dacho Fofana. He could argue is a better player than him. I know the argument will always come up, but he plays in the Bundesliga. But Dacho Fofana plays played in the Norwegian league. Yeah, but yeah, more importantly, we don't need him. And I've always argued, I feel like he's going to renew with Dortmund. That they'd be able to convince him to renew with them, and he did that. He's going to be at Dortmund until 2026. So that one up put aside, then maybe that kills off the uh, uh whether the argument whether we need him or not, and plus it just kills off the club's interest in him. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, let me know if you wanted him in the first place. I'll say it again. It's not one player I want at the club really. Let's see. I'm getting the stats of some of the players we'll talk about today. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Yeah. So if you're watching, if you have any question, go ahead, shoot it, and I'll try to address it if I can. But the truth is that there aren't too many stuff to talk about today. That's why it's a mix-up of again transfer talks, and also we have again Mykhailo Mudryk's debut. We'll have to talk how well he did, and how we can do to get the best out of him. Because yeah, he actually created a chance yesterday, but we didn't put it away, which I wouldn't blame the player again as he was trying to get his foot right to take a shot. Wasn't able to do that because probably the ball was too close to his leg. I mean, that's by the way again. Yeah, I never wanted him, but right now he's extended with Dortmund, so which means we're never going to get him. Just give me 1 second. Let's see what else we have. It says again, Gusto for me, good age and a good competition for James. What else? How about did you look at his output and decide Gusto is the man you think again is the better of the two players? I really want to hear that from you. To me, yeah, I get the argument. I knew a lot of people will prefer him because you can say he's more flamboyant of the two players. Denzel Dumfries is not known for his, showboating, or let me say, it's not the most, you can say, again, he's not an artist. Whereas you can see a bit of an artist when, what's his name, plays. You can see a bit of an artistry when Augusto plays. So that's the difference between the two players. Excuse me. Yeah. Notwithstanding, I still think, again, I take experience. Denzel Dumfries is not that old. We'll mix it up. James is still 23 or 24. I mix them up again. If he comes in, most likely would. I don't think he will be a good. I don't think he will really be competition for James. Really, as much as I know he has the potential to reach where James is and still do as well as James. I want to get your thoughts. Touchulos did not want Badia Sheila as well. I never. A lot of people don't, but I'm not the one that didn't want him. Go check the videos. Get one where I said I don't want Badia Sheila, and I will give you $50. Really, I'm not kidding. I've always wanted him. We wanted him from last summer. I thought we were gonna get him again. Like I said, I prefer him to what's his name, Vadio, given that he's taller. And again, if you see the way he plays, even before we signed him, I wanted him. But a lot of people don't want him. That's the truth. A lot of people would have wanted us to go for what's his name, Vadio, and pay again, pay off the chart money, or maybe again pay premium to get him. Even as some people have seen him, some will still argue that they prefer Vardiol over him, just because they didn't see Badia Sheila at the World Cup, because they saw Vardiol at the World Cup. Some feel like he's more, again, he's the better player of the two. No, I think his thing about Badia Sheila, if we're being honest, is more again, is complete. You can say from the players we have now, right now, is the most suitable to take that mantle, that leadership, defensive line mantle from Thiago Silva and slot in there seamlessly. He's calm, collected. His play is again, his style of play is predominantly defined by his intelligence as a footballing intelligence, not power, not his height, not his build. That's one thing I love the most about him. Yeah, no. So yeah, I agree. Some people didn't want him, but I have always wanted him from last summer. Actually, I don't know when you started, like when you became a member of the community. No, but people would tell you I love the kid really. Again, good day. Michael, your boy, and Chelsea, by the way, I think I haven't seen you in a while, actually. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you enjoyed your Christmas and you're enjoying your New Year. And Michael, your boy, says again, good day. Hope you're good. Again, having a great feeling as a Blues fan. Gusto, Caicedo, then again, we're done. Are you sure we'll get, is it Gusto or Gusto? Which one? If it is Gusto, tell me the number one is, just say one is the correct pronunciation. If it is Gusto, tell me again, two is the correct pronunciation. The focus again should be on UEFA Champions League to win and automatically qualify for next season. Pray for the rivals. Here's the thing, next season, rivals are in trouble. Rivals, again, one thing is sure, if next season, rivals will actually focus on, again, on trying to stop us in the attacking area, they won't even get the chance to try to unsettle our midfielders. So our midfielders will have less work to do. All they have to do is just, link the defense and the attacking players. So yeah, I'm excited about next year. More importantly, if I'm being honest, let's see what else we have here. It's a good one there, Michael, your boy. I like that. My Ghanaian brother. Bobby Smoky Sickness says, big up, guys. Smash the like button. Again, is the link available? Yeah, it is there right now, brother. Again, if you're interested, you can find it there. And this says, can we beat on Osimhen? That boy reminded me again of Obafemi Martins. I think he's more explosive than Obafemi Martins. But you could argue Obafemi Martins is quicker, probably more, you could say more technically gifted. I don't think we'll be able to get the him even if we want him. And I have my argument as to whether I want us to get him or not. Pardon me while I take let me take a sip of my coffee. I don't want to lose my voice. He'd be again for Napoli. Napoli, you must know they're very difficult to deal with, especially when it comes to a player as you can say Osimhen, who's been one of their best players for how many years now since he's joined them. If you're gonna buy or get Osimhen from them, you'd pay north of 90 million pounds, really, if we're being honest. And I don't think they'd be ready to sell him now. But let's see what happens. If anything, it's not going to be this window. We should ban talk about Mount for a day. I'm fed up of this fan base again, fighting over him every day. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Just look beyond it. What am I going to do? I'm not going to read his comments. Except if we're talking about his performance. It's become toxic. It's gone beyond saying a player is out of form. It's gone beyond saying a player isn't playing well right now. It's gone beyond being again constructive criticism. It's become toxic, and that's not okay. And that's a culture we pass on to other fans, the younger fans. So I'm gonna try as best I can to avoid any talk about Mason Mount. So good idea there. Again, a coach again has been spoken about Badeshile. Not gonna lie, again, I had my suspicions. Yeah, a lot of people do. Yeah, I trusted him from the time we started being linked with him. Yes, guys, please like and subscribe when you enter. If you have not, as it helps the channel reach a wider audience. Please, the likes do go a long way. Even if you're watching and you cannot participate in the chat, you can take a second to drop the like in the chat. That does go a long way for the channel. Cool. Again, Udochi Mbana, it looks like you're a man of few words. Every time, either you say cool or you say, again, awesome on that, and that's it. Okay, but I'll take it. Anyway, thank you so much. Just guys, again, keep liking the stream, guys. If you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, the likes do go a long way. Those people who done Badiashi at that time, I like the way you put it. I will fault them again. I will fault them because they don't know him. Some of us who do more research and knew that the guy again was good again, and I'm lucky to again maybe fortunate to be again be able to watch the French league every now and then. I don't watch them not all the time. But every time we get a player gets linked to us, if that player has a game, so I usually go beyond watching clips of their performances on YouTube to watch them play the full 90 minutes to get to see how they're doing again. Because you get to know more when you watch the player play a normal game rather than watch clips of that particular player on YouTube, which is only clips of him doing well. But that's why, I think, he's a good player. If this says again, if at all possible, I believe we require Osimhen. I do again. I'm a bit skeptical about that as to how again what's his name, Graham Potter likes to approach the game. As much as I think Osimhen, he doesn't have a bad touch, but still I don't think he's well equipped to you could say to participate in a fluid front line. He's more of a traditional again number 9 than he is a hybrid number 9. So that's why I'm thinking I'm not as much as I love him, I don't want him to come to Chelsea. Something I said again when we're still when it was still Thomas Tuchel was still our manager. I'd say the same thing. After all, the two managers don't differ that much. But that's by the way. I'm going to bring you in immediately to Beho. Let me start you with the one we're talking about right now. Would you like to see Osimhen at the club? If yes, why? If no, why? I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, big up, coach. I hope you're good.
Big up, bro.
Yeah, to be honest, from my side, at the moment, as I said before, like I don't want a striker, because like if you can check Grandpa's Brighton, he never like get best out of the strikers. So I don't know if getting Osimhen will help us. So he prefers a first 9 because like Kai Havertz can give us that movement and stuff. But again, just like finishing. His confidence is low. So I don't know what is happening. But again, I'd, I would rather have a, if I want a striker, I'd rather have a Vlahovic because I think like Vlahovic is much better than a Osimhen, but in terms of movement and abilities. But Osimhen, for me, is a brilliant striker in terms of finishing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, crystal clear. I can hear you. It looks like it takes you a while to hear what I said.
Coach?
I can hear you. Bobby, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear both of you.
Yeah, we can hear you, Tabejo. Maybe he doesn't hear us, but Tabejo, maybe you need to go out and come back in. I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, go ahead with what you were saying. But it looks like you hear me again. Whatever we say gets to you late. But go ahead. Okay, maybe he needs to go out and come back in. It's not helpful, really. Yeah, that's by the way, Bob. If you want to come in, I don't mind bringing you in immediately. Yeah, it's still morning, 4 minutes before noon there. Good morning to you, Bobby. How are you doing? If you want to come in with your Osimhen argument, to me, I don't think we need a hybrid striker, and I don't think Osimhen is that. He's a brilliant striker. He's a fine finisher in the state. He can fight. He can settle defense. But to me, he's not a hybrid striker, and I think Graham Potter prefers a hybrid striker. But I don't know about you. Would you want to see Osimhen at the club, or do you think he's not the guy? Whichever your choice is, please let us know.
I don't know that much about him, or shall I say, I don't know enough about him. I have a number of sort of Nigerian people that I know and work with, and they those that follow football, they know about him, and they say he would be limited with Chelsea and wouldn't really give us what we were looking for, which is, as you say, a hybrid striker. And they question whether that demand for consistency would be too much for him. That's what I get from the discussions. I won't stand by that because it's not necessarily my opinion from the limited I know about him. But from what I have seen of him, big striker, tall. How good is he with his head? I don't know.
He's an excellent header of the ball.
Well, yeah. So that sort of thing, I would leave to the judgment of those that know more about him, and I'll start looking out for Napoli games. It just seems curious that every time I don't watch Napoli games, I must say, with great depth, but the little sort of clips I see, I hardly ever get to see him on the ball, which I think perhaps is just coincidental.
I don't think we'll go for him. I think this is fans, especially my Nigerian brothers. So again, a lot of the community, it's a Chelsea Perspective community members are Nigerians. So they do suggest them probably subconsciously being biased without knowing. Doesn't mean Osimhen is a world-class striker. He's getting there. He's still young, but he's not the hybrid striker. I don't think he will work at Chelsea. To accommodate him, it is no different than, again, doing what Thomas Tuchel refused to do to accommodate Lukaku, and I don't see that happening. But go ahead. He's a much better player than Lukaku. Let me just be clear. But go ahead.
Well, I'll leave that to the judgment of those that at the moment know what he's about, and I'll start looking out for him to build my own opinion. Talking of subconscious bias, I'm going to broach a topic that you rightly don't want to get too far into it.
Yeah, go ahead, because we don't have too many topics lined up today, so we can knock it out and go ahead with the little we have to talk.
I'll broach it simply because I can. I'm not a content maker. I don't care for followers and things like that. If you like me, you're very, very welcome. I'll like you back. If you don't, well, get lost. I value my freedom of speech more. Mason Mount. look, I got into several discussions on Twitter about Mason Mount, which amused me really. And then I listened to Miz this morning, another content maker, this guy from Australia, and he raised such an interesting point, an intriguing point from my point of view,
Mhm.
that he pointed out how, nobody
Yes,
hesitated.
just quickly, Bobby. Let me catch up with a few of what we have in the chat so we don't mix up topics. So by the time when I get to the bottom, there will be about Mason Mount since we're talking about it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, this one says again, yeah, I've read that one. This one quickly says again, we critic Mount because we love Chelsea. This is not, yeah, it's again, but there's a difference, a thin line between criticism and again being toxic. For being honest, being for it being hate. Maybe this is an opportunity to educate the fan base. There's a clear difference. There's also, again, you can call it the thin line between you critiquing somebody and you showing blatant hatred to that person, which is toxic, which if that person can hear it, can harm, again, hurt their feelings and all that. But that's, by the way, again, this one says, again, our scouting people are doing the great job. I think they're doing well so far. Bring Kamavinga, Acacia, and Bissouma. Are we going to get every player on planet Earth? I wish Badeshile will have 2 seasons next to Silva because the two composed and not like again Shalova again that was trained by Chris, but who always checking really okay. Let me see again. Caicedo doesn't cut in. Let me see. Big up everyone. Mount has to be sold. Should have let him again at Liverpool. Was he ever there? Let's see what happens here. Coach, again, do you realize the Mount is following the steps of Dele Alli? I wouldn't call it that. Again, if you're going to critique Mount, critique him, say how badly he's played. Don't go into saying he's following the footsteps of Dele Alli. He still has time. He can do better than Dele Alli. He's still 23, 24. When you watch how Nani plays, again, let me remind, again, former Chelsea player Ruben, really? Again, Mudryk case debut. We're not sure. Maybe the next game if he trains well with the current Chelsea team. And that's from just Mabisco de Jesus. Thank you so much for joining the show. Juve will have to sell with their again 15 points taken off them. We're going to buy their striker. You think that doesn't make us the favorite, really? And something I saw that Vlahovic prefers. Again, he likes how Ten Hag trains players and would want to join them. But to me, I'd say that's still absolute nonsense. No confirmation of that. But let's see what happened. Oluseyi Ajakai. Again, my Niger says, I don't understand what this is. What this host is talking concerning Osimhen. Arsenal that play a fluid football even more than Chelsea went for him last summer. Osimhen has this ability to adapt to any situation. Here's the thing. When adaptation is needed, in the sense you have to adapt the way you play to be accommodated into a team, it can be problematic. I'm a Niger man, and I love Osimhen, and I know he's a fine striker. But every striker doesn't fit in every team. It's as simple as that. No matter again how good you are, it's as simple as that. Again, that's not me saying Osimhen. I know you understand quite well. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying he's not, again, he's more of a traditional striker than he is a hybrid striker, if that makes any sort of sense to you. Again, I know, again, you're probably going, even though he's born Niger, why is he like that? Prince Bolt, again, just by the way, again, yeah, hello to you, to Isco Philosophy, nice to see you. Guy, again, I think we have Hazard replacement in Mudryk. I think it's very different, but I get it. It's easy to start comparing two players. Once that explosiveness in him, maybe that's what's gotten you to start comparing him to Eden Hazard. I think they're different, and I think Modric will probably get you more goals. One thing they have in common is that two of them are capable of, pulling the rabbit out of the heart to help a team win a game. Let's see more of Modric before comparing him to Hazard. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Bobby, go ahead. Sorry, again, I had to take care of whatever we have there. So whatever else is coming in the chat will be aligned with what we're talking about. So go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, I think this has to be addressed. That there is a lot of bias, there's toxicity, there's all sorts in and around Mason Mount. But ultimately, for fans like me, There is not a single player I have ever known in all the years I have been a Chelsea fan that to me I put ahead of the club. Not one, and neither will there ever be. My vision is and my objective is for Chelsea. If there are players that fit into that objective, then definitely they will always be taken on board. There are some players that I like, but no, I don't like them ahead of Chelsea. Now, I mentioned Miz in his platform, and he raised a very interesting concept. And that was that, we didn't hesitate, both the coaching staff and a lot of the fan base, to see players like Tamori, Tammy Abraham, even Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We didn't hesitate seeing them benched, in some cases even sold when they underperformed, apparently. But we have this thing where we are persisting with an out of form Mason Mount. Now, because of our injury situation, I kind of understand it as him and Gallagher. Very much so, because, the choices are very limited. But there's a big but, where you get some of these young players. Yes, I know Chukwemeka fell over the ball yesterday once. But where you have these youngsters coming through and who are lighting up the pitch more than people like Mount are at this moment in time, you have to ask a question. Why are we playing this guy? The team's biggest problem is scoring goals. He doesn't score. He's never been a goal scorer. People refer to when he won Player of the Season. Well, winning Player of the Season last season with the performances we had was not that great a feat. And I can't remember any time where he has really, lit up everywhere. He's always been that player that we hoped will improve. He's going to improve on his goal scoring. He's going to improve on his passing. And then, then we have this issue of the 300k a week, if it's true, which I think it's absolutely abhorrent. It's appalling, and it will destroy the dressing room. Imagine if someone like Modric fulfills his potential and he's on what he's earning, which is less than 100k, and we're giving Mason 300k. For what? We need to be very careful here. Now, it's a thin line. People might say, oh, get rid, get rid. I'm not in the get rid camp either. I'm in the let's keep it real camp. He's not that guy. And we need to stop telling him he's that guy. He's somebody who, at this current point in time, is a player that is fighting to come off the bench. In all honesty, that's where he is now. He needs to show massive improvement to step up to the mantle that has been placed upon his head. Now, what is it? What is it about us as a society? We keep creating these, using biblical terms, these idols. We're so good at creating idols. We wish people to be a certain way and delude ourselves into thinking they are that way. I don't want to be that. I'm not part of that at all. He is not a solution for us on the pitch at the moment. His performance yesterday was dreadful, awful. He should have come off sooner than he did. Gallagher's, well, I keep with him because I believe that in the midfield there's a place for his endeavour. But his finishing wasn't great. His decision making in the final third is poor. Now, we as a club, cannot get out of this doldrum of mediocrity that we find ourselves in until we start to keep it real. Take these players off the field of play. If we want to give them a chance, put them on the bench. And if they refuse that, then there's the door.
Yeah, again, I agree with you. There shouldn't be any measure of sentiment. If you're not doing well, you have to go. You make the bench your home until we see an improvement. No exceptions at all, no matter who you are, and we shouldn't be making a single individual think that without them the club cannot do well. That comes down to recruitment. That comes down to the club's hierarchy to handle that. And I believe that will change over time. In the case of Mason Mount, as much as I don't think he's the best player at the club, I don't think he's the worst player at the club. Right now, he shouldn't be starting games. I don't know where the argument comes, but what he does off the ball. No, he's playing closer to the final third and should be producing assists and goals. When that doesn't happen, then he shouldn't be starting. We can't say, okay, we just go with him because of what he does off the ball. No, that's not the case right now. He's being in poor form and maybe needs a break to regain his form. But that's by the way, and like you said, again, there's a chance that we couldn't do otherwise because we're depleted due to injuries. But that's that's by the way. We move on from that. We have other topics to talk about. We'll get into the game in detail towards the end of the show. It's a Sunday. I don't have not in a rush to go anywhere today. Let's move on. What else do we have? I'll get what we have in the chat, and we'll look up the topic lined up then. Bobby, very well put. You see how Bobby presented his case? Wasn't toxic, didn't cross the line. Just stating, okay, he's not informed at the moment and shouldn't be starting. Again, it's as simple as that. Again, if you don't like how a player is performing, don't take your criticism to a measure where it becomes hate or it becomes toxic. That's dangerous, really. Again, here, Jonas Sehoto says, I wish Kante can renew the contract and come play again alongside Mudryk. To get the best out of those guys, we need somebody somebody like Kante who'd be disciplined enough, who'd read the game enough so that we have security in terms of, again, then we don't need the Mudryks and ZX. We don't need them to be doing much tracking back, so we can have an outlet if we want to break, hit the opposition on a break. So that makes sense. Azad is back back in Mudryk. I get the argument. I think it's a very different type of player. What they have in common, two of them, they're very capable of pulling the rabbit out of the hat to help the team win the game. But we'll get to talking about Mudryk. We'll get to talking about Mudryk's performance yesterday. Right now, let's keep the topics aligned. Once it gets time, when I say bring your own topic, you bring your own topic. Otherwise, I'll be speaking your topics if it's not aligned with what's being talked about right now, because it can be exhausting if I'm going back and forth a topic. I totally blame Potter for all the abuse Mason is getting. He should take him out and arrest him to give him a chance to get his form back. It's as simple as that. Again, I don't know why. Again, maybe does he fear him? I don't know. If he's not helping the guy's case. He's not informed. He's been crap for a while now, and you still feel him. Yesterday, he was practically lost the whole game. But I don't get it, really. But that's, by the way, good comment there, delicious comment there, and I hope you're way better today, brother. I haven't reached out again yesterday. I think I reached out yesterday and the day before to ask how you're doing. But more importantly, I hope you're doing well. Coach, real talk. Melo Gusto is that guy. I watched his clip and some of his games, and I think that this guy is, we need, in my opinion, he is technically better than Reece James on the ball. Really, that's the type of argument I want to hear. Then that's the guy that I believe can compete with Reece James, but maybe not immediately. Maybe it will take him like a year to get the level that you can say he will compete to Reece James. But because we'll look at their numbers in a bit. Yes, guys, so please keep liking the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes do go a long way for the channel. Again, I like how Bobby explains things happening again at Chelsea, which is true. Chinedu Biagam, very calm voice too. Understand. He broke it down in a way, dissecting in a way that you get to understand his point. He's not abusing the player. He's not crossing the line. He's not being toxic. He's just saying, this is what I think it is. And I think everything he said is true, is the truth. Malo Gusto is also 19. Fits the profile. Will go for value at 15 million. Do you think he comes at 15 million? We'll see. Again, why last night Porto again didn't try to install Fofana? Who knows? Again, it could be the difference. Instead, the pair of Aubameyang. I don't know why he chose that. Dumfries is not my preference for the right back. Again, is that I think I started again. I knew. I don't know. I knew. I don't know. I didn't know much about Gusto until again I heard we're interested in signing him. That's when I started looking into him. But I haven't watched him play full 19 minutes to say, okay, let me watch him full time to see what he does. That's me looking beyond the clips I see on YouTube. That's usually what I do, and I haven't done that. Dumfries is pace and power, experience also. You must add that. He's 26, and it's still the same as usual. Jorginho plays creatively for the team, just passing backwards. No, I think he actually did well yesterday. If you looked at his numbers, the Blues, Chelsea again. To be honest, again, it's very obvious that our players are not well drilled again at all. They just keep on falling.
Coach, can I?
Yeah, go ahead, Bobby.
So I was gonna say something about Melo. Is it Malo? Gustav?
Yeah, I don't know if it's Gusto or Gusto. I don't know, but again,
Look,
if you say it, I understand. Yeah,
we have to. I listen to the profiles, and in this day and age, we cannot but look at little video clips and so on, because quite honestly, because it's very funny. We try to eat our cake and have it. The new Chelsea sporting directorship and scouting are really doing their job. They're scouting, they're studying, they're out there, they're combing the market, and they're getting relatively unknowns to us. Gustav is not a player I know much about. People that follow the French league and Lyon probably know him definitely know him far more than most of us, certainly than most of us in the UK. But how much did we know about any of these players that we bought? How much did we even know about someone like Noni, who is indeed an England under-21 international? Most of us didn't know that guy. I certainly didn't. How much did we know about Mudryk? I didn't know much about him. How much did we know about Andres Santos? Well, certainly nothing. How much did we know about Detro Fofana? Nothing. The truth, what I am saying is that we cannot expect.
Bobby, go ahead. I'll be back in a few seconds.
We cannot expect to have all rank file and dossier on every single player that we bring in as a fan base. That's why we have a sporting director. That's why we have a director of football. That's why we have a chief scout and scouting team all involved in transfers. They have rated this Malo Gustav very, very highly, and they've earmarked him to come in as a right back. That's if they bid for him. They haven't bid for him yet. To rotate with Reece James. That is very, very, very high praise indeed. And if they can have that level of faith, then I have to have faith in them for their judgment. For one, we don't have a choice. Two, that's what they're paid to do. That's what they're there for. That's why, we can judge them if it doesn't work out. And, please God, I don't want them to start buying us studs, but if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
so,
sure, yeah.
So people like Malo Gusto, I won't claim to know much about him. I'd never heard of him till I saw his name on Twitter, to be honest. But if we bid for him, that means he's worth the bid. And I'm behind it. I really am, because the project now is for unknowns. We're going for the lesser names. They may not want to make Chelsea, to give Chelsea that image, but that is exactly what's happening. And we
don't have to spend we don't have to spend premium to get the talents we need.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to work. It really is. That's why if you see how the team is shaping, people were criticizing. We know we desperately need midfielders. We know that, and I think the ownership knows it. The sporting the directorship knows it. Everybody at Chelsea knows it, but they focus on attack. Why? Because you see, getting the right attacker is probably, dare I say it, is probably more important and more difficult to do. Our attacking is horrendous. It's atrocious. And even if, I'm telling you what, even if we have an excellent midfield, I'm not too sure they bring as much as they should. I'm not. I mean, a perfect example of that was yesterday. A ball from Ziyech to Mount, Ziyech to Havertz, Havertz to Mount. Instead of either of them taking a shot, Mount passes it to Lewis Hall, and they missed. So when they both had the chance to score, instinctively just take a shot. They were actually in the 18-yard box. So that elite striker or strikers or attacking is lacking. So they're trying to really sort that out, and I'm behind them. They haven't really done anything wrong at the moment to make me feel that we're not going in the right direction.
Oh, no, they haven't. Again, sometimes out of frustration, people can say something not nice, again aimed at them. Again, which is expected when people are frustrated, given where we're at the table and all that. Had we, let's say, if we're topping the league, and no matter what they do, I think people wouldn't even talk much about them. But that's, by the way, guys. I'll try to catch up with what we have in the chat again. Pay attention to how we're going to be moving forward. Pay attention to whatever that's been talked about. Make sure your contributions in the chat are aligned with that particular topic. It can be exhausting to be switching between topics. As much as I love reading your contributions, it becomes difficult when we're switching. I read about Mount, next I read about Didier Drogba, next about John Terry. That would drain the life out of me. But if the topics are aligned, I enjoy it. And again, believe me, I will never get exhausted doing that. But I have to stop every now and then to give the panelists the opportunity to speak. Coach, I agree with you. Your man who just spoke, the wage structure should be looked at again. How come Mount is again still I'm paying a huge amount in a week? Okay, I'm not sure I get that one. I could probably mixed up a bit. Please, when is Felix back the next game? This red card feels as long as January, like out of season injury. Anna Jude, thank you for that question. I think it'll be available for the next game. Bobby, again, a quick one. Again, apart from Johnny Miller, so where are these fans that rate Mount like that? That's a difficult one.
I mean, to be honest, I'm the first one. I love Johnny. I just, the guy just.
But that's where you draw the line.
The Mason Mount thing is OTT for sure. I mean, wow, it's real. I don't know what that's about, to be honest. I don't understand it, but it's him. We all have our thing. There are many things about me that people might find peculiar. I don't know. Well, my wife certainly does, because an old man like me sitting down talking Chelsea day in, day out, when he's got free time for so long, it's unusual to some people. But for me, I love it. That's what I love to do. So he loves Mason Mount, and it's what it is. I think it's excessive. I think it's without object. You're not being objective. But are there any more people like that? That's a very good question. That is a very, very good question. There used to be,
indeed.
But I'm
quite
noticing.
A lot.
Yeah, well, there used to be, but I'm noticing now the fan base is becoming more realistic. I think people are beginning to see the flaws in his performances, and most people that I know of and talk to and go on spaces with, they want to see him on the bench. They really
for his
do.
own good, for him to realize I need to work. Yeah,
exactly. They realize, and for the team, the team needs to be looking elsewhere because we've made this guy into what he's not, and it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy for him, unhealthy for the team, unhealthy for our results.
Mm.
So put him on I remember there was a time he was on the bench, and when he came on, he was on fire. I've forgotten that game. He really was on fire. He was everywhere. He was making things happen. And I thought, wow, Mason Mount. But you see, that then it was one of Graham. I know it was a Tuchel game.
It was under Thomas Tuchel. That was again following after it became clear that he was mentally tired, that he needed a break. And then he gave him that break and he came back better.
That thing is, once he came off the bench and did that, they then reverted back to playing him the next week and the next week, and then he was back in the first team consistently. And then he went back to what he's doing now. So he needs a long spell off the bench, just like everybody else. Look at Pulisic. There was a time Pulisic hit some great form, and because of Mount, he was benched. No wonder the guy got fed up. He was benched. And I'm not saying Pulisic himself is any better in terms of his consistency, but that was not right, because the team would have benefited more from a better performing Pulisic and informed Pulisic at that time, rather than an out of form Mount. So most of the fan base I see are looking for Mount to be on the bench. And I don't know whether that will happen, but if it doesn't.
Yeah, okay, here's the thing, guys. I'm going to catch up with what we have in the chat. And after that, we'll have to move on from Mason Mount. We're not going to be going back and forth with that again. Yeah, so Bobby, thank you for taking the time to answer that question from Chukwu again. Was falling too easily. No, I wouldn't say too easily. That incident probably, that's you could say where that argument stands from that pass. That again, you could say that goal scoring opportunity that he couldn't sort out his feet. The ball was too close to him, and he was still in motion. Again, that wasn't his fault really, but we'll move on from that. Again, Gusto all day long. We'll talk about that in a bit. Arsenal should beat Man U 3-2 today. Again, let's see. Blue morning, my peeps. Can coach a panel and chat in live, no limits. Bless up, brother. Nice to see you. Thomas Bay, Mount isn't even doing the facts at the basics, so to speak. I'm just going to catch up with what we have in the chat regarding Mount. We'll have to change topics immediately. We're not going to stay there. You guys bashing Mount to talk about, again, Mount stands when it's only one game. Who is there? Again, Johnny Minaras, very few guys say Mount is so it's only one guy. Okay, again, Arsenal will show how better. Okay, I get it. Saying, let's see what happens. Timo Werner is a solution for Chelsea poor finishing. Again, I don't want to get into talking about that. Werner will never be, again, you'll never see a consistent performance from Werner in the Premier League because Werner thrives when there's space to exploit. He could have done well against Liverpool, against a team such as Manchester City. But once teams that defend deep, you might as well just leave him on the bench. It's not to buy players. Again, Potter isn't a good coach. Abiola, Sean, is that what you think? Okay. Again, my brother here again, Bobby Fairview, big up to you, bro. I hope you're doing well. Let's not start again counting our chickens before they hatch. Let's have these again unknown players come in and perform before we start celebrating, if that's how you want to see it. But at least there's hope. There's hope. Again, you go to a certain, if you have a plan to reach a certain goal, and you feel like once you reach that goal, things will be better. You keep moving with hope. Then when you get there, if things aren't better, then you adjust. Yeah, but so right now, to me, I'm hopeful. I think I can say the future is looking bright. Again, I believe in the long-term future. My concern has always been the short-term future, and of which looks like the solutions are, again, we'll be strategic with our signings and we'll solve that. England coach is not good for Chelsea. Sack Potter now. Abiola, it doesn't work like that. Sorry, I can't read what you wrote. Apologies for that. I wish I could. Mount, instead of getting shooting, he had to pass poorly. Again, we needed to buy creative midfielders who can score and create chances from central area. Maybe, again, that's me trying to complete the sentence for you. We don't have Sancho. Yeah, sorry about that. if Mount leaves, all I have to say again, don't let him join Liverpool. With that club system, let's not be fools and strengthen our rivals. That's just the truth. But again, the only kind of remedy to him becoming and reaching the heights he's capable of reaching may well be him leaving Chelsea. But I don't think the club will let that happen. If that makes any sort of sense. Okay, good. Bobby is spot on regarding Mount. He's not the worst player, but he needs to be taken out of the firing line for a while for his own good. I wonder if Potter would do this again when João Felix returns. I think he will always find a way to accommodate him because there's been argument, even from my brother Roger, about his industry and all that. But yeah, but if you're playing closer to the final third, there should be more assists, there should be more chance creation and all that. It's not about the running for me. If you're not doing well beyond the industry or the energy you bring to the team, and you're playing closer to the final third, no, you should be drop into the bench. Bobby is good with his analysis. Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. Bobby, so much appreciation for your contribution today in the chat. Yeah, thank you for saying that. Good afternoon, guys. Keep it up. Odeyemi Oluwanifemi Okikiola, nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. As a United fan, again, I see great game. Yeah, I watched that. That will be okay. Yeah, thank you for that. What else do we have here? Again, all the deadwood wedges should be sliced in two or more if they want to stay. Else, we move them on and have hope in the new team. And the wages they're given to new incoming like Mudryk and others. Mount is a midfielder, but Potter is playing him off key. Okay, I'm not sure. Mount needs to go. It's not good enough. Okay, if that's your argument, that's you. Some people hate true. When I give an assessment to Mount, they start hating you. That's where it becomes an issue. Some people don't like that he's being critiqued. Some also take their criticism beyond criticism into something hateful, something toxic, which is not good. I've been at Juju. I don't know, and I know go fit talk now. Again, Mount looks a shadow of himself. That's because probably that's a chance the whole thing stems from him being overplayed. I don't know. Chelsea want to submit a bid close to. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Players need competition. Yeah, we need competition in the team. Lampard did Drogba did again. Why shouldn't we get quality players to rival the likes of Mount and help them improve and not get single player in day out, and then subconsciously they start feeling that the team can actually not do and be able to achieve anything without them. Mr. Porter must teach his boys teamwork and finishing. Mount, Ziyech are very selfish most of the time. Here's the thing, I have to say this. I'm not going to be naming any single individual. I think selfishness, you could argue, has been one of the reasons why we haven't been as prolific as we should be, as we think we should be in front of goal. And that's because we have a team that, again, when we get close, again, in the box, in the opposition box, everybody wants to be the scorer. Whereas in the case of Manchester City, when they get to the final third, they're always looking for the better position player, which is why, again, they always score more goals than us. Liverpool, the same. I think again, if we're being we'll start being less selfish in the opposition box, I think we'll do more. Fatigue is affecting Mount. You could argue that, yeah, because he's been overplayed. You told Bod to buy 15 players, not me. Again, Mount is a good player. No doubt, again, but now he's not in good form and shouldn't be starting every game. He needs probably a rest to recover mentally. Maybe that's where the problem is. To get a TV, the problem is from the coach, not the player. You don't need to overuse a player. I think that's an excellent point right there. Mount is a good player. Potter isn't a good coach. Wow. Again, Chuku fell down twice. Yeah, I'm not sure. Again, the first one, the one had again that he wasn't able to sort out his feet. When I think it was Mudryk that created the chance for him. I wouldn't blame him for that one. Enzo and Caicedo combo, Caicedo combo, I see coming. Let's see. You told Bod, what did I do to you? Okay. Mount needs to be benched by Felix to encourage him to do better. Maybe that will help him rotate the squad, But then again, here's the thing: Porter is doing the same thing Thomas Tuchel did. That Thomas Tuchel did that. I think what's his name? That Frank Lampard did. They value the energy he brings to the team whenever he's on the pitch, the amount of running he does, the pressing more than trying to get him to become a better player. At this age, Mount should be coached even more. Yes, he's played for a while now at the top level in terms of winning the Champions League and all that. I think that again, the common misconception is that he's arrived. No, he hasn't arrived. A player at this age needs more coaching to reach his potentials, but unfortunately, the managers prioritize his industry and all that, and don't do enough coaching to help him become a better player. Seriously, Mount needs help by benching him. Yeah, part of it. I agree. Again, okay, now guys, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. Feded, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Mudryk should have scored a goal, also 2 goals maybe. But again, he's a player that hasn't played football for a while. But look how sharp he is. And again, we'll talk about that more in a bit. Exactly. Let's see, what else do we have here? Chelsea have the best of players to win every trophy in England. The problem we have now is the coach. I knew you were going to arrive at that. So that no surprise there, Chelsea fans push forward. We didn't push them anything. Is it true that Zidane is waiting on the wings? Jonas Sohoto, I don't think so. But you never know. Sometimes we don't know until it happens. Then you come to then would realize, oh, what we've been hearing again, they were all true. All this why we didn't know it. But at this point, there's no talent. I think Potter gets time. But the truth remains, if he's not able to turn things around, I think he loses his job. But right now, it's too early. Probably he get to the end of the season, but let's see what happens. Thomas Tuchel wants Barcelona or Real Madrid job. Yeah, again, thank you for letting me know that. He's not too keen on the Tottenham job, even though he's a Tottenham fan. Probably everything down to Daniel Levy's reluctance to always spend for his managers. That can be an issue. Let's see. Can $1 million spent in 5 months plus Caicedo will take in well over 500 million. Puppet Master. Let's see what happens. But again, the good thing is that we're still in line with we haven't infringed any FFP rule, and we're structuring the deals in a way that won't have any problem. I think he rejected Tottenham job. You could argue maybe he did. Let me see again. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom, guys. Apologies, I can't get everything. Then I'll try to get your subsequent contributions regarding the next topic. Mountain Kai Havertz going nowhere. I think you're right. I think Mount isn't going anywhere. I think Kai isn't going anywhere either. Andrew Phillips, if we're being honest. Yes, again, this conversation there. Again, he's getting better by the day. Yes, let's keep praying for Liam Lane. He's one of us, the captain of the house. Very lovely individual, very mature. The way he handles situations in the chart, again, can have a good argument, a tense argument, but then he comes back and say, remember, at the end, we all love Chelsea Football Club. So let's keep praying for him to recover fully. I see him as my brother, even though I haven't met him in person, and has advice, again, some awesome advice from him that has helped his channel grow. Even when he won a giveaway, he said, take it, again, as a super chat for the channel. And I said, okay, I'll take it. But thank you. Much love to you. 5 new players. Please, guys, keep liking the stream and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We are at 86 likes right now. We should get it to 100 as soon as possible and shoot for 300 likes today. Excuse me. Yeah, sorry, guys. I have a bit of cough. Declan Rice wants Arsenal. I'm hearing that too. Forever Ghana, again, if you don't mind, if you can even be participating on the panel, we're looking for panelists for the sister channel where we cover all football club, not just Chelsea. So if you want to be part of that, go check out Soccer Perspective. Make sure to subscribe. You can shoot me a message on Twitter. Then I can bring you on as a panelist there. Then we can talk clubs. Let's see what else we have. I thought I'm at the very bottom. Declan Rice. Okay, if that's how you say it, good luck to you with him. God bless you again for your good work, bros. Again, Abiola Sean. Thank you so much, Abiola. I appreciate that, my Niger brother. Don't sign up Potter out. Just list 2 possible coaches to replace him now. More on from the Tuchel sacking. Geez, again, and give Potter a chance. Yeah, Tuchel ain't coming back to Chelsea. And plus, there's a first for everything. Even though I have my questions again, I have a lot of question marks over Graham Potter, I've seen improvements, and hopefully it continues to the right direction. There's a first for everything. Pep Guardiola wasn't born with trophies. Ancelotti, again, he wasn't born with trophies. All the top managers, they were not born with trophies. They at some point started winning. Maybe we'll see that from him. Then again, it becomes an excellent decision. Jump out entertainment, bigger brother. Good day, Chelsea family. Just stop by to drop a like. Please remember to like and share the same. And again, jump out with in a beat or share the link to his channel. Please let's go support him. He's one of the best mods in the community here, but always busy at this point. And I know sometime he'd have time to join us. Tuchel is good. He's good. Again, Edgy Menza Daniel. I love your name, by the way, because I know Dominion Dumfries over Malo Gusto all day. BK, tell us why. You don't just tell us Dumfries over Malo Gusto. You have to tell us why. Elaboration is key. We need to understand why. Potter have to win something again to keep his job. Make 1-2 again finals because the fans will be calling for his head. I think. Let's see what happens. He doesn't have to win anything really. The overall performance is what we want to see. Again, if he does well, and the question is, well, we were just not lucky. Then that's fine. He keeps his job. Johnny's analysis is usually on point, but his mod support is probably part of the toxicity that follows the lad. Again, people feel trolled. Yeah, I love Johnny. I respect him a lot. I go to his channel whenever I get a chance, and he comes here whenever he gets a chance. But I have to agree, his obsession with Mount, he doesn't even agree he does anything wrong. That's where I draw the line with my friend Johnny. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, good one there from Bobby Fairview. He will be unwise to sell Mount now. I don't think the club sells him. If anything, if he's refusing to accept what's being offered, that's where maybe he may end up living on the free. And here's the thing. He has just about 18 months left on his contract, and it gets worse by the day. Because again, there are other clubs that are probably willing to offer him more than what we're willing to offer him. How much would you guys say Mount for? Right now, we won't get that much from him because he has just about 18 months left on his contract. Correct me if I'm wrong. You check. Please, can we check? Let me check quickly. It's important. The length of his contract is important. Again, it plays a huge part as to how much we're able to get from him. Let me say Mount. Mount again, transfer market. Yeah, that's very important as to how much we'll be able to get from him. Let me see, check that for you quickly. Yes, keep dropping the like on the stream. Let's get it to 200 likes as soon as possible, people. So his contract, Mason Mount's contract expires in June 2024. So about 18 months or even a little less left on his contract. Yeah, so that's dangerous. They say his market value right now is 75 million. So, but here's the thing. Here's where it gets even more dangerous. Let's assume Liverpool, they want him. And it feels like Liverpool respect him even more. And they tell him, why not join us when your contract expires? Because next year, January, he'd be free to talk to other clubs. He might well say, okay, I'll finish the season with Chelsea, and then I'll join you guys next year. Boom, it's done. We're not going to get it. I don't think we get anything close to 15 million for except if we have, again, multiple clubs, more than one club vying for his signature. Then that's why, again, that's when you can say, okay, you know what? We can get a sizable free from him because there's a bidding war. But right now,
Coach.
I don't think we'll get much money. That is if he leaves. But the truth remains, getting him to put pen to paper for a new contract, it will be even more difficult. Now, go ahead, Bobby.
Coach, I kind of kept quiet because you said we were going to move on from this guy. But
yeah,
it's hard to move on because there are things that keep coming up. Look, I have a simple answer to this. I really do. This guy, he's on 75k a week now. Now, if this is a big almighty if the issues on the delay of the contract is money, then I have to say he's not worth 300k a week. Period. Very, very, very few players are worth that sort of money. The club has doubled his wages, which, if my calculation is concerned, that could be 150k a week. That's more realistic. To be generous, I might say, okay, we'll give you 175. That's overtly generous compared to what his output is. That is massively generous. If you compare him to a player of the profile of Mudryk, it's almost bitterly unfair. But let's say, for want of argument, they've offered him 175 because there's no purchase cost and he's a Chelsea boy. If he refuses that, I would say, look, this contract's on the table. If you don't sign it by such and such a time, we're going to put you up for sale because we want to make some money. It's as simple as that. And that's when the truth will come out. Now, clubs, yes, they might come scrambling for him because he's got a big PR. He's got very good PR. He's got a good profile, whatever.
Yeah, strong fan base backing him.
Well, whatever. If they wanna spend 300k a week on him, well, fine. They're foolishness. He will always be good in a team. He will always be useful in a team because of his work rate. And especially in some games, he will be dangerous, definitely. But for a club like Chelsea that is looking for elite level players, for example, I think people like João Felix are at the club, and he is just the type of player to bench Mason Mount, to be honest. He can play with him and he can play without him. Because his output clearly is going to be better. He's doing what we want Mount to be doing. Now, if João Felix was at Chelsea with that sort of output and with that sort of time, and if he came through the academy, which means there was no fee involved, he probably would be worth about 100k a week. But with the fee, that kind of should reduce your weekly wages. What am I saying? What I'm saying is, let's stop being bluffed by this PR stuff. Let's stop being bluffed by, he can go to Liverpool. All this fear of these players going to other clubs. Sometimes your players will go to other clubs. We've had that with De Bruyne. Yeah, he was a big miss, but at the time De Bruyne was at the club, to be fair, we had people like Lampard, we had Essien, we had Mikel, we had, I think at one point, Deco. We had so many. We had Ballack. The midfield was packed with quality that were ahead of him. He was a kid, and a decision had to be made. So the decision was made for him to move on. He wanted to play week in, week out. So we sent him on loan at first, to be honest, and then we sold him to that German side, who eventually sold him to Man City, and the rest is history. So that was an inevitable gamble, and it paid off for Man City. Mo Salah, the same thing. What, you're going to get Salah benching Drogba? It ain't happening. And there was even an Elka then in those days, and Solomon Kalou. There were all these players that were doing better than him at that time in his career. And so I think we did the same thing with him. We sent him out on loan. Then Liverpool came and bought him. Now, Mount, I love Mount. Don't get me wrong. I love the guy. I love all our academy graduates. But I'm being realistic, especially in the situation we find ourselves in now. We can't keep messing around. If money is what is holding us up with this deal, well, he's being given a very, very generous offer. If his pride won't let him have it, well, won't let him sign it, well, sorry, let's make some money. If it is length of contract, that's a different matter. That is a different matter. And then we have to ask the club, well, why are you insisting on him having this length of contract? Does it have anything to do with FFP? Does it have anything to do with tying him down? I don't know, because, with him, what is the point in trying to tie him? I can see the point in tying down Reece James for a very long time to protect our asset. But what is the value of this asset we're trying to tie down for such a long time? I'm not sure. If he says, oh, look, I don't want to sign for more than 5 years, then we have to evaluate this. 5 years. Oh, okay. sign him for 5 years. But if you keep playing like this, mate, we're going to sell you, and that sort of guarantees our market value. So I would give him if it's 5 years, for example, that he wants, and he's initially been offered 7. I would give him the 5 years. You see, we have to take away all this hype around this guy. There's too much hype around him, and we need to really be truthful about what he's worth. And it ain't a lot. It ain't a lot. A lot of players, you know, every player that was an ex-Chelsea player that comes up against us is always dangerous. Look at Willian. Willian was finished at Chelsea, let's be honest. He went to Arsenal, he was finished there. He went to Fulham and, you know, he turns in a 20-minute Messi performance and scores because he was pumped up, he was motivated. But he's just going to go back to the old William he is once that game's over. So I'm not buying that threat anymore. I think we need to seize back. You see this player power thing that we're trying to get rid of? I think we need to apply it to him as well. Mr. Mount, that's your offer. I think it's a very, very generous offer. Take it or leave it. It's that simple. It's that simple.
Yeah, just quickly, I'm going to get a few of, again, I'm not sure how much I can get. Again, jump pot, I really don't know, really. I really don't know whether that was what led to it. And I don't want to get into it. I don't want anything to drag me into politics. The last show we had limited in terms of monetization. I'm not sure why I've reached out to YouTube, but I'm sure it's about politics we talked about. So sorry, I can't answer this question fully. Again, even if I try, it would drag us into politics, and I don't want that again. We don't need Declan Rice, our team. Again, I prefer Caicedo or Enzo. I believe they will complement others. Again, that's what you think. Chelsea are used to give me joy, but now heartbreaking every day, no matter anything I fall in love. I understand. Sorry to hear that. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. Big up Pachila. We just need either Caicedo or Fofana again as DM plus a right back. Again, I'm happy we got a Hazard replacement, bro. Yeah, Prince Moha again even different than Hazard. I think there's more to his game than Hazard. That's not saying he's better than Hazard, but again, we'll get into that in a bit. Your club will buy Summer as well. Oh yeah, we're not done buying. Again, yes, we need Enzo or Caicedo, Eji Kemeneze. Thank you for that. So I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. Okay, Tumu, greetings to you, Kachila and Bobby. Can you pay 50,000 for Mason Mount if he is playing for another club in his current form? I'm not going to get into that, but I get where that question is coming from. At this point, no. If it is in the current form before we signed him, but the form at which we can. Look at how much he's earned now. He's earning 75. But I get your argument, and that's not fair, really. While it took time for us to renew, why again he just had 18 months left on his contract. I don't know why. Maybe the club doesn't value him that much. I just don't understand. Maybe they think he's self-safe through and through. It'd be just simple. Once they start talking, it wouldn't be difficult to get him to put pen to paper for a new contract. And here's a link to Jampot's YouTube channel. Be sure to go check it out and subscribe. Let's support him and help him grow. But that's why we want to bring in IBZ, and I'll scroll to the very bottom of everything we have here. Yes, guys, thank you for 105 likes. Let's shoot for 200 immediately. IBZ, big up, bro. How are you doing, bro?
What's good, man?
Big up to you. Big up to you. Let me ask you this question. Again, it's regarding Mason Mount's situation, but where I'm going to ask you this is this. I checked his contract. His contract expires June 2025, I think. What year? 2024, actually, which means he has about 18 months left or so. I haven't done the proper calculation, but it's not far away. How difficult does that make the club getting him to put pen to paper for a new contract?
How difficult does it make the club?
Yeah, again, for the fact he has, again, a few months left, you can say just barely a year left, 18 months, a year and 6 months, yeah, left on his contract.
I mean, that will get sorted with time. They'll put him, they'll re-sign him probably under the current model, the 60 plus. I don't see Mason Mount leaving, you know.
With performance incentives?
No, not even performance incentives. He ain't going. They'll re-sign him. They just probably wondering how they're going to re-sign him. The structure that will get negotiated. He will re-sign. Reece James, he's staying. Mason Mount, he's staying. You see those two. Unless the club want to go away from values or create a whole new breed of Chelsea, those guys are Chelsea. You don't get more Chelsea than those two at the moment, especially Mason. Sell him and go where, or allow him to go for free and go sign where, go where. No, I see him staying. Obviously, I've never been the one to be drawn in performance criticism or anything I've been seeing, but I gotta say, man, I'm not even chatting rubbish. Yeah, this has got to be the worst. Yeah. I tell my friends, we are the most toxic fans out there, bro. This has got to be the worst, where I see a whole fan base, probably Maguire, how a whole fan base can just go after one player, or just people just go after one player as if they can do even 1% of his daily life or 2% of his daily life. It boils my blood how people make videos about how poor he is and he needs to get out of my club. I don't want to go on a tangent, but it's borderline disgusting. And I understand that it's a new generation of online fans, or a new generation of fans that are online, so they express their quote unquote opinion. It gets a bit disgusting when, I don't want to be the guys to say I have an agenda or I side with this, but I think as a fan base, we've got to look at ourselves and do better. Like when we nullify players because of what. So not to go off on a tangent, but to just highlight Mason Mount. I see him staying. I believe the club will look into that deal and get that sorted before the contract runs out. Maybe obviously getting the length of time molded into the way the new players are signing. 6+ is obviously something that he may need to, renegotiate with. But I think he'll be okay.
Here's something I want to say quickly. I don't know how
I saw it yesterday. Sorry, I saw it yesterday. The hate for this brother. I watched this game yesterday, and after the game, you go on these platforms to see people's reaction, and the first thing you see is people just chatting rubbish about God knows what, like making a whole video of if he did this would have happened. At this point, it's just like this. I'm not listening to my fellow football fans critiquing football or critiquing parts of the game anymore. I'm just seeing football fans just getting onto a player like they can do 1% of his daily life. Like if they told you to do, if Graham Potter told you, the individual that's chatting rubbish about Mason Mount, to do a fitness test,
let me ask you this quickly, IPC. When does it go again? When do you again? Where is the line between critiquing a player and abusing a player? Because again, people have every right to critique a player when they feel a player isn't doing well. Because the truth remains, even on the day where a particular player does well, there's still some section of the fan base that says he was crap. Critiquing is a different thing, but there's no clarity as to some people. To some people, there's no clarity as to where that line is.
Yeah, I feel it is a. If you really want to debunk it, it's broader than it is. There's an entitlement as a fan base, not just Chelsea, anywhere else. Man City were booing their team at 2-0 down for a team that's won 4 titles over the last 5 years. How you can boo your team at 2-0 down and only for the same team to win 4-2 is mind-boggling. But that's where we are as entitled fans. Football fans are entitled. I think he's a victim of his own accomplishments and his own ability, because he's raised the bar so high at such an early stage of his career that people are going to expect that even more, no matter where he is. So he's a victim of his own accomplishments, especially winning the Champions League. Now you're now seen as you have to be the one to deliver week in, week out. But I believe that it's now a situation where if anything goes wrong with Chelsea, there is an easier route to say, oh yeah, because of Mason Mount, or because of Kai Havertz, or because of Jorginho, or because of Hakim Ziyech. It's very easy to point at players as opposed to just looking at the whole broader context of things, which is fine again. But when it becomes out of line is when you start seeing videos of watching how much he has failed to now justify your narrative. I don't understand. It's very, very. It's like, don't you have a job? Is this what you come online to do? You make a whole video, and I'm not. Again, I don't want to. It's Twitter, in it, so it's not. That's not the definitive of where football opinions are or where football is. Where football is analyzed. It's not the pinnacle of it. It's just where opinions are shared. So I understand it's just a cesspit for people to just share their hate. But it just gets a bit disgusting, Coach, when you see compilation videos of how many misses he's done. I saw it with Werner last year, and I will say it now. The majority of form of players is not down to the players, but down to the fans. The fans play a huge part in the player's form, a huge, huge part. Yes, the player has to own it. Obviously, you play well, you play rubbish. Obviously, it's on you. But the recovery, getting behind the player, seeing the player turn a new leaf, it is down to the fans. Because the fans will put in, oh yeah, don't worry, Mace, we got you. Don't worry, Mace, we got you. Don't worry, Mace. Next week, you got it, Mace. Telling you that will help Mace, as opposed to, I'll get him out of my club. He's what generational talent. He's a waste of space. I don't want to see him there at our club again. If that is the agenda for the best part of a whole year, I'm sorry. If you're expecting the player to be thick-skinned, especially a player that's 23, he's younger than me, so he's in a generation where most of these young G's are. He's in the online era. He's seeing what we're seeing. If you expect him to think, oh yeah, he's going to be tough-skinned through all of this, then we've got another thing coming. We play a major role in all of this than we think. So I just think.
Yeah, here's what I'm going to say here, and go ahead if you haven't dropped. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I just feel that it's coming off like what I've seen over the past 48 hours.
Yeah.
I think it's just too much.
Here's what I'm going to say here.
You bring it down. It's irrelevant.
Yeah, here's what I'm going to say, and I think we'll move on from this particular topic. Again, even it drives, again, you can say it draws a toxicity in the chat too. First of all, I don't think Mason Mount is the best player at Chelsea. I don't think he's the worst. I don't think he's actually close to the best. But I'm going to go to the extent to say I want him out of the club because what I want doesn't matter. Most of all. We've seen a situation where he put on, again, consecutive stinkers and the manager still plays him. That brings me to the fact that Mason Mount not being able, again, he hasn't reached that height we all believe he's capable of reaching because managers value his industry more than, again, what he's capable, other aspect of his game, his technical ability, and more than the fact that he needs coaching more at his age. And it's become detrimental to his development, if we're being honest. That's from Lampard to Thomas Tuchel, especially under Thomas Tuchel, where at one point Mount, you could say, mentally was his decision-making was near to zero. And he kept fielding him until probably, again, maybe he paid attention to what people were saying. This guy has been overplayed. He benched him for a while, and when he came back, he did better. So, but that's, to me, again, my main argument here is that, again, it's how badly he's done lately isn't really his own doing. It's the managers overplaying him, and the managers haven't really coached him as a young player. Maybe they felt like he's arrived. Look, Foden is still being coached, and that's why he's grown from strength to strength. But Mount, it just seemed as if he's one-dimensional, and that's down to the coaches. It's not too late. To me, I think actually maybe the best thing for him to, again, that will happen to him will be for him to leave Chelsea.
And go where, Coach?
A manager will look beyond his industry and realize he still needs to be coached. No. That's unfortunately, but unfortunately, if he joins Liverpool, he will still be about his industry, his commitment and all that. But I really want to move on from this topic. We've dwelled on it for nearly 2 hours now.
I feel you. Just want I don't speak on. I don't have a favorite. All my favorites are all retired. All of these guys are new gen, and I support them because of the club, innit? I don't have any favorites. My favorites were John Drogba, Celestin, all of them, man. those are my favorites. These ones, I follow them. These are young G's to me. So I it's like a big brother role that I have my mindset towards them. You feel me? So I won't criticize or get onto them as much. Like it's not that deep to me. You know what I mean? I feel the passion, but I just feel Mason Mount, no way are we advocating this guy leaves. No way are we advocating he goes to
again,
Liverpool.
what we advocate doesn't really matter. It doesn't change anything. I know you know that quite well.
No, obviously. So let's advocate good energy. Let's advocate support. As Chelsea fans, we rather make fail compilation videos of a player that's playing for us. Is that where we are? And we want to talk about progression. Does that seem progressive to you, to create an agenda against the player that you want him out of our club? You create a whole 10-minute compilation video of missed passes, how he's not doing this, and you call that progressive. I just find that very counterproductive, and I don't see how that's beneficial to the player or the club you're trying to support. It's just an agenda. That's all it is. You got to be, yeah, okay, all right, yeah. You don't think Mason Mount's good enough and you want him out.
Let's move on from this topic. We'll have transfers to talk. We've talked about this topic for about 3 2 hours right now.
It's just from yesterday. I don't know how people could still draw him up after yesterday's performance, which is really frustrating. So I just thought, yeah, just done it. Like he's staying, and I want him staying. And if you want him out, cry in it. He's staying in it.
All right, we're gonna move. Yeah, we're gonna move on from that topic. And if you're in the chat, if you use more than 3 emojis, or if you consistently start using 3 emojis again, it will ban you. It's a machine. The Nightbot will ban you. It's not a human being. So, but that's by the way. We'll move on. Please go check out Mark's YouTube channel. It's called Zvoy YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe. Let him send you. Mike, if you're there, please do share the link to your channel so people can go check it out. I want us to move on from the Mason Mount topic. We'll move on from that. What else do we have here now? Mount is not a Chelsea quality. Ray Allen, big up to you, bro. I hope you're doing well. And he would have planned to retire. Okay, I'm not sure I understand that. Again, IBZ, you got to say you're waffling because you dislike Mount, but you don't want to upset your master.
Dislike Mount. I don't dislike no one. My point is, what's this all agenda shit that I keep hearing for the past year since I've joined Chelsea Twitter or Chelsea socials? What's this narratives or agenda merchants? Or let's free them off the back. Let's get off the players' back. Let's stop making failed compilation videos. Because there's the same fan base. I'm not gonna lie. This is my opinion. I feel this is the same fan base that changed the energy of fucking Timo Werner. The same fan base that obviously Lukaku didn't help himself, but it's the same vibe.
Yeah, let's watch language, bro. Let's watch language.
I feel our fan base is so toxic. We drive players into the mud ourselves, and I believe we need to do more supporting than doing all this rubbish on the internet. Like, oh yeah, get him out of my club, fail compilation videos. Period. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Just stop me these narratives that we're putting on Twitter, bro. That's all in it. That's all I'm saying in it. And boy, in it, it's just frustrating in it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just waking up vexed in it. But boy, that's just my angle in it. I just feel.
Yeah, I really do want to move on from that topic. I think again, even Liam Lane said we shouldn't talk about Mount today because I know he divides opinion. And yeah, I have my argument about that. Potter is not experienced enough manager to understand that he needs to protect Mount. Yeah, protection in terms of play him again. Don't play him even. Why do we see him on and off again consistently, even when he's underperforming? That's my problem. I'm not saying he's the worst. I'm not saying he's the best. In fact, to me, he's not even close to the best at the club. But why play him even when he's not playing well? Leave him on the pitch for 78 to 88 minutes sometimes. It just doesn't make any sort of sense. I really do want to move on from this topic but Mount, more importantly, needs coaching. Unfortunately, it looks like it's a bit too late because Potter himself values his work rate than anything else. That is how, again, I treat my 4-year-old daughter, not a 23-year-old professional footballer. Again, that's a Jimmy Split TV. Nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to go to the very bottom. Unfortunately, we need to switch topics. And here's the link, again, to Z-Voice YouTube channel. Go check him. Check it out. He's approaching 1,000 subscribers, and we should help him get there. An excellent content creator. Again, a lot of enjoyable content there that you will like. So again, this toxicity, I'm going to dodge it. And the last time we talked about Mount here, even a few minutes The content got, again, a limited monetization, and I don't want that to happen today. It could lead to us using languages where that doesn't suit my settings. Please go check out Matt's YouTube channel, Z4 YouTube channel. The link is there. Be sure to subscribe. You will enjoy his content. Protect Mount
and
from
tell you, I just said my last on this. I tell you that all the man say, "Oh yeah, Mount." When you see Mount, if you see Mount in the flesh, you'll be the first person to lick his ass, the first person to say "GG's, mate," the first person to clean his boots.
Yeah, let's move on from that. Let's move
Sorry,
on.
let me just build my spliff and shut up, man. I'm just
on
a
that
bit
topic,
heated
please.
this morning.
Yeah. All right. Again, yeah, I don't know. Protect him from, I don't know. Again, fact, maybe protect him from himself, from feeling like he's arrived. Maybe that's one of the problems we're seeing. Maybe again, because I'd say the way I see it, he probably doesn't believe he has anything else to learn. He's won the Champions League. He's won the Club World Cup. He's won one more, the Super Cup. So yeah, those three things alone, they're enough to get, again, a player at his age to start thinking he's won everything. He's nothing else to win. But that's by the way, I really do want to move on from that topic, honestly. Please don't get me back to that topic again. Mudryk of Felix, Nkunku and Mudryk, the end of Mason Mount is near, if that's how you see it. But we'll see. I can assure you, as long as he's at the club, that doesn't spell his at the end of Mount. I'm sorry about that. Again, for why am I saying that? You know it. Again, managers value his work rate rather than, again, realizing that he needs more coaching to become even better or to reach the level at which we all expect him to reach. I will shake his hand because he plays for this club, but I will tell him to leave again. But okay, if that's how you feel. Again, that's, by the way, I want to move on from this topic. And now I'm going to do what Liam Len told me next time. I'm never going to, again, bring up this topic because I don't know where it leads to. Even IBC is not a person. He's not a person on the planet.
Sorry, hey, coach, sorry. No, me, I just see one thing. Now, vex will make me come on this to me. I am where I want you. Now, vex.
I understand.
Let's
move on from it.
No, I know. I honestly, we'll move on. I just saw it today, and I was like, really? Even other accounts are saying, what is going on? Like, why are people doing this? And I just thought, honestly, bro, it becomes a situation like, are we high? Are we actually okay? Are we using our senses, bro? But it is what it is. Let's move on. I don't have any agenda with no player, not from the keeper to the reserves, no one. I just want everyone to do well, that's it. But yeah, let's move on. Whatever. Let me just carry on.
Yeah. Just one more. I'll take this again. Those saying Mount should leave. No. That makes me. I'm not going to read that one again. You don't. I refer to people like that. That's no difference from your anger towards those that you're saying are abusing Mount or wanting to leave. So sorry, I'm not going to read that comment because that term you use referring to people as mentally ill because they want the guy out of the club. No, you're no different from them. If we're being honest. Again, a happy blue afternoon, Coachella, the panelists and anyone in the chat. Sent to you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Did Chelsea sign any player today? Nothing new today. We'll get into, again, the topics in a bit. You did talk too much. Let it go. Yeah, let's go. Let's move on from that one. But I wouldn't say anybody's talking too much. I don't think that comes across, again, a civil. Again, I don't know how it's to phrase it. Gusto, again, the over Dumfries, or again, never do business with Inter. Again, after the Lukaku robbery. Is that how you see it? And please, if you're watching, if you haven't, please do take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, please like and subscribe, people. The likes do go a long way. Keep the blue flag flying high. Next season, we're challenged for the league title. Yep, I believe, again, again, I'm just concerned about the immediate future, if that makes any sort of sense to you. So this update here from Simon Phillips says, Chelsea winger Hakim Ziyech is interested in Everton among other clubs on an initial loan with maybe an option or obligation to buy. I'm not sure where. Yeah, I'm just finishing the sentence there. But the question is, like, as well as doing right now, I don't think, have we really signed enough player to say maybe it's time to let him go? Nani Chukwuemeka is a good player and can play. He operates on the right-hand side. Nani Mudryk, but here's the thing about Nani Mudryk. Is he as good, again, as good as Ziyech is in terms of passing the ball, in terms of orchestrating defense, splitting passes from the central area, from deep in our area, or on the right-hand side? I don't think so. Maybe I haven't seen that. So I think, yeah, as much as I'm one of those that called for Ziyech's performance at the World Cup, if anything, ups his value, makes it easier for us to find a buyer and get a sizable fee from him. So if we're trying to keep him now, I don't think he'd be willing to sign a new contract. And I'm not sure how again the duration what he has left on his contract. If the risk really trying to keep him because he's doing well again, is that sustainable? Will we see a situation where I'm coming, Bobby? I know you want to comment in this. Will we see a situation where the manager will decide to bench him 1 game or 2 games, and then his behavior changes, he starts stalking again? Bobby, go ahead. You can talk about that one.
Yeah, I mean, the way the season is going and the length of time left for the season, and the fact that we haven't actually seen, not only have we not seen players like Noni play in a Chelsea shirt, and he will need time. He's 20 years old. I don't see it as wise to be talking about letting go of one of the few most effective attackers we have. Letting go of Hakim Ziyech at this point, if that's going to happen at all, is nonsensical, if you ask me. It doesn't make any sense. You know, this willingness to just offload a player that there is an apparent expression of dissatisfaction because they have been benched, and many a time unjustly benched, is silly. You know, he's having one of his better spells at Chelsea, if not the best spell he's had in a long time. I don't see the value at all. It's like when we got rid of Giroud. You know, I didn't think that was a good move. You know, we didn't have a striker. We get rid of Giroud for Lukaku. Well, look how that turned out. So no, Ziyech needs to stay. He needs to stay at the very least till the summer. Does he want to stay? Well, he didn't look like a player to me that didn't want to stay. And with his discussion, you know, the whole body language, the whole interaction with Potter yesterday, he didn't look to me like a player that was angling to leave the club at all. But you know, we have to wait and see. What I personally feel, I don't think the club will let him go anywhere till summer at least.
Yeah, I think I'll speak after I let Ty talk. I know Ty strongly believes he will leave the club. Even I think the same. But looking at some reasons, again here, I think there's a chance he stays. Everything comes down to the length of his contract, so the club wouldn't be in a hurry to sell him, and it all depends on our business this January transfer window. And again, like Bobby pointed out, he's the most creative in terms of creating chances from. Or again, wherever he's on the pitch, he can pick up a good pass and with pace and everything. But let's see again. Yeah, again, we'll all support Chelsea, whether we agree Mount leaves, whether you think Mount stays, whether you think Mount is crap, whether you think Mount is the best player we have. Just keep it civil, just keep it respectful. No needs abusing anybody or using language again. That belittles anyone. It doesn't make any sort of sense. Can we still Garba Lawal? That reminds me of the former Nigerian international. Again, I missed that. And if you're watching, please avoid using more than 3 emojis. If you do that, the machine that's policing the chat will delete your message. We still need Mason's services at the bridge. A lot of people think so. I think we should, again, as much as I don't think he's the best player, he's not the worst. I think we should keep him, but we should stop overplaying him. Managers should recognize that Mason Mount needs more coaching. Start looking beyond his industry. Start looking beyond the energy he brings to the team. Coach him to become an even better player. He shouldn't be starting every game. He should be starting when he's in poor form, and all we get is just the running and the pressing. We need to be looking beyond that. He's a good player, but he hasn't come close to what as good as he should be because the managers haven't coached him. They've all paid attention to his industry, and wow, they like that. And that's dangerous. That's detrimental to his development. Ship him, says Glenn. I hope you're doing well, brother.
Coach, can I please just remind fans of one thing? Hakim Ziyech is contracted to Chelsea till I think it's July 2025. So there's no mad rush to sell
Mhm.
him, even for a decent price. In fact, the longer he plays and performs well, the better will be his price if you choose to sell him. So we need to be very careful here. You know, he's not one of those that you just pull the trigger, especially if he's performing well. I just think we need to have that caution put out.
Yeah, we have to. Again, it's important. That was what I was going to say. Given the length of his contract, what he has left on his contract, as long as he's looking happy now. Maybe maybe Potter has found his trigger, and he's making. And I think Potter has started to trust him. Even the fans have started to trust him. But I wasn't one of those calling for us to keep him, given his performance at the World Cup alone. I was thinking maybe it's an opportunity to let him go if he's bent on leaving. Again, Samuel, Macklin, Mount, Jorginho, Aspilicueta, Cucurella, a lot more old players that need to go along with Potter. We need we need to go back, and Zidane Tuchel said again, Tuchel isn't coming back. And the Zidane story, I'm not too sure about that. IBZ, this is again Chinedu saying again, big up to you. Thank you for saying that, Chinedu. Hello again, Blue family. How are you all doing? We need Hassan Azarian to assist us in the midfield. Again, create chances from the central area. He's his hardcore and versatile player with energy and wants to join Chelsea Football Club and has openly said he wants to join the club to challenge Mason Mount, Kai Havertz. I think he mentioned one other player. But here's the thing, that's a problem, which I don't think the club were willing to navigate to try to sign him. I think if it's not simplified, we don't want to take any risk that later on we'll find out again that we're in trouble in the hands of the British government or something like that. So I don't want to talk about that because it will still drag us into politics, and we've already gotten into trouble. Yesterday's video especially is the limited monetization, and I don't want to do that again. Again, you have to get rid of Ziyech if you can. His value isn't going to get higher. He isn't getting younger, but if it's producing results, if it's producing good performances, assists, and by now he should have again had that. Aubameyang been sharp enough, and another person again by now he should have 4 assists like in just 3 games, or which is again nearly averaging nearly one assist or 1 point something assists per game. So yeah, if he's doing well, I think the club will be willing to keep him as long as he's happy. And I don't see, like Bobby mentioned, the club wouldn't be in a rush to sell him right now. It's up to if we make some mad sign in this January transfer window and see we have another player who's capable of, helping us on the right hand side, specifically on the left. We'll see a lot of assists and goals from Mudryk. On the right hand side, without Ziyech, I don't see that coming from anyone else. If we're being honest right now, maybe Nani Mudryk. I get it. Again, he isn't getting younger, but good argument right there. Havertz are too soft for the Premier League. Again, it's for Havertz better he goes on to Bayern. Okay, let's see. We still need the core of the team. We cannot ship everyone out. That's a delicious comment, Konadu. We need size, and we need we need depth. It's very important. We suffered because of lack of depth. If we're paying attention to what we've been through, Alba and Stalin need to go as well, and we need full clear out and start again over with these new players in Gunku and Mudryk and Felix Killers again. Good players there. Moike can kill it too. Mudryk, I love him so much. I think he's a fine player, but he's different from Hakim Ziyech. That's why I'm not going to say let's let Ziyech go because of Mudryk, because they're 2 different profile players. Mudryk is again a much better dribbler in terms of chance creation. Ziyech is a better chance creator, and then you could say better shooter too, but we'll get to see more of them to have again enough sample to compare them objectively and come to a sensible conclusion. He's about as consistent as Ross Barkley, but we played Liverpool and he was hyped, so let's keep him. That's hilarious. But Glenn, if we're being honest, that's the second game in a row that he's done well. But let's watch. Let's see what happens. Ziyech needs to be sold soon because his performances are good, and the World Cup will increase his price. Also, we need to clear out the squad in general to raise funds. Okay, yeah, that's important too. That may well be one of the reasons why the club will decide to sell him. Happy Blue Sunday, Choma. I hope you're doing well. I hope we're all, again, you too, you're living the blue life. I hope you're sleeping blue, eating blue, waking up blue, and living the blue life. Thank you so much for kindly saying that. I hope you're doing well. We cannot sell Ziyech this January. Just watching him in 2 games with the new players. Again, we wait until summer of 40 million at best. You're not getting 40 million if you leave it till summer. Mudryk reminds me of Azad. Very different, but the confidence, again, he doesn't shy away from taking on players. Yeah, like for like in terms of that, those aspects. Potter needs to go. This team is too big for him. Toko or Zidane. Toko coming back. Zidane, no. To
Order.
Zidane wants a ready-made again team to do something to be able to perform anything. Zidane will struggle with this team, and I don't think he'd do well in the Premier League. So, Ty, over to you. Give us a reason why you strongly believe Hakim Ziyech stays. I want to know why. Ty, are you there, or should I move on to the next person? Okay, go ahead, Roger. You can comment. A lot of argument that we keep Ziyech. Again, for me, I wanted us to sell him the moment he returns from the World Cup and not be selfish because he did well and decided to keep him. But if you look at factors such as the length, what we have left on his contract, he still have 3 years. So next year, he still have, we still have time to sell him. If we don't make enough signings this window, if we're still thin, like we say, he's the most creative, I don't think we'll sell him. If we're being honest, that's what I'm leaning towards. But your thoughts, Roger, and big up to you. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, good afternoon, good morning, gentlemen. I want to say, first of all, this has been quite a lovely show. It's been very insightful.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think Bobby, as usual, brings tremendous...
Did you order us coffee since you enjoyed it that much? Did you send coffee to each other?
Double shots, coach, double shots. And IBZ, I could not concur with you more, sir, with the vitriol. Perfectly put. Even you,
just
coach,
want to say I want to say my rant is over. Sorry, coach. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
No,
come on.
You're good, bro. I'm you're good. Go ahead, Roger.
Sorry, Roger. I'm an emotional individual in it. So obviously, I just felt when you brought the topic, what you thought the contract and what, I just felt, okay, let me talk about the contract. But it was very hard for me not to dive into my concerns that I had. That I just said, so yeah. Rant over. We're back to business.
No, and it was wonderfully articulated, IBZ. You brought such valid points, and even you, coach, were logical. Wow, what did you guys have for breakfast? No, a brilliant show. Seriously,
we're not telling you. Just go ahead. Just go ahead, speak, Roger.
Ziyech.
Oh my God, please.
Ziyech is a bit of a Marmite player, also. He's temperamental. But listen, you're right. He's had a solid World Cup. And the last 2 games, he's been whipping the ball in. He's been doing so, crossing with purpose.
Could have had at least four assists by now.
Yeah, if you had Drogba there or whomever, listen, it takes time to build up a chemistry, when to cross it in, when to expect to go to the near post or the far post, etc. This comes with time and hard work on the Cobham practice field. It's simple as that. So I say we play him if he continues to play in this vein of form. If this dips and you see his body language regress and then you see him pouting, etc., then you start to bench him. As long as he is this productive and is willing to track back and even puts in a barge or 2, which I noticed lately, this shows me that he's willing to put in 100% effort. And that's all you want as a fan. So I say continue to play him until he plays otherwise.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for not giving your client credit or blaming your client for anything.
I didn't want to say anything.
I want to see your ID, seriously.
No, to give Potter credit for his performance, I think would be disingenuous. So
okay, I'm just kidding. Again, I wanted to. Surprisingly, you didn't mention
However,
Potter.
No, I'm just kidding.
Ty, I'm going to try and catch up with what we have in the chat. Please, I'm begging you guys, let's always keep your contributions aligned with the current topic. It can be exhausting to be switching between topics because the brain has to switch to process the new stuff. For us, my focus was on the other side. I enjoy doing this, and I can do it the whole day if it's aligned, really. A big up to the panel. Diego Costa 19 reminds me of somebody again I wish we had right now. But that's, by the way, again,
that is the number that he had too.
Sorry?
That's the number that he wore too.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying again. I wish again we have a club right now. Ty, I hope you're ready. I'll come back to you in a bit. And it looks like you were not close. You weren't close to your device. A big up to you, to Diego Costa. As this king, he's better than Mason Mount. Again, he can create a better than that. No, there's no comparison. Actually, they're two different type of players. And again, like Roger did mention, he's improved. Again, physically, he's adapted to the physical aspect of the whole game, and that's from actually under Thomas Tuchel. That's when I noticed that he's become again tracked back very well, puts in the foot to again. I think he's become much better. If we keep him, I'd take it, but I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. But given the length of his contract, like Bobby mentioned, the club will not be in a hurry to offer him and to sell him right now, so to speak. Again, Ziyech at a better club would be a lethal weapon. I wouldn't agree otherwise. I think he's a fine player. Just again, the difference is that whenever he's on the pitch, if you want to get the best out of him, a lot of the plays has to go through him in the attacking area. And if you make the run, he picks you up. Just again, maybe it takes a while for people to get used to the pace of his passes and all that. But to me, I think he's a good player. Terrence, thank you so much for that comment. I see, Coach, the problem I have with this Mount convo is that, again, the fans and reporters back him as so much of a dropping disaster classes. I don't think he is a good player, again, or has the potential. That's your argument. I get it. Yeah, again, and believe me, you have every right to phrase it like the way you phrase it, as long as you don't go to, again, if people call him names, that's what I don't subscribe to. I have my argument about him, but I'm not going to go into that right now. So, yeah, players like Mudryk and Felix will allow our players to play better. It's just fact. Look at the link up between, again, with Mount and Havertz, again, and again, in Felix's first game. Yeah. And look at the combo between Carney Chukwuemeka and Mudryk, too. So you make a good point. And another point, again, I want to put something I want to point out. Remember, even if the season ends, we don't have, we end up not, again, signing Felix on a permanent. If we have, again, even the likes of Mudryk, the likes of Nkunku, changes quite a lot. The focus of the opposition will be to stop our attack. They won't even get much time to deal with our midfielders. But right now, our attack, you can say, yeah, we're not potent enough to scare them. The focus is always, again, on settle Jorginho and we're good, But again, if we have a very good attack, nobody will even get the time to get to Jorginho because your focus will be the attackers, if that makes any sort of sense. That's not me preaching that Jorginho stays. If that's, by the way, I've always known he was going to leave. It's money. Again, first of all, it's, again, business for everybody involved. And if he leaves on a free, he gets much big money in bulk. If he says, I don't see us offering anything close to what he'd get if he leaves on a free, okay, again, if that's how you see it, again, no slender, nothing against Mount. I just don't think he is the future of the midfield. It's as simple as that. That's how you see it. That's your argument. And here's the link to Ty Talks YouTube channel. Please go check it out. Make sure to subscribe and let him know I sent you quite a lot. The chat is on fire. Great stream. As always, guys, again, big up the Chelsea family. We love this club. Clearly shows infamous CFC. More importantly, whatever side you're on, the love is Chelsea. Again, even those that want him out of the club, they want the club to do well. As long as you don't slander the player, just say you want him out of the club. If that gets the club, if what you say gets the club to sell him, fine for you. Then you keep mentioning other names you want to leave the club. I didn't see this king of a show again. I didn't see this kind of a show, Tomori and Tammy, the type of fight. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that a lot, but I remember a lot of people were bent out of shape when Tammy Abraham was let go. Cho, the hatred was already there. And I don't want to go into that again. The reason why this Mount Convo is not a problem is because of, again, the introduction of Carney. I really don't want to. Again, Orban needs to go. Lots of Pulisic on loan, but not for sale. Please, again, Koulibaly needs to go. If Chilwell is back, Wizard will produce more assists if there's a direct striker who can score headers. Here's the thing. How about keeping Koulibaly? Let me just we should stop saying go, 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 go. Be fair. How about we have Koulibaly, but the Chile, God forbid, gets injured? What do you do if we don't have Koulibaly? So how about we keep him and have the squad depth? He's a good player. Yeah. How many games has he played for Chelsea that you've come to the conclusion we should sell him? If we're being logical, we're being objective here. Exactly. Is that enough? No. And 19, you have to divide them into two because he had to go to the World Cup. And that's, again, you could say the World Cup disrupts how he's adapted to the Premier League. And he started well under Thomas Tuchel. And that doesn't mean the manager don't trust him. We have squad depth. Look what Chalobah is doing, what he did for us. Again, unfortunately, he got injured. I'm not sure, the severity of the injury and how long he'll be out. Look what he did at the right back. Look how, again, Koulibaly came on, played in left back, the left back position for us. He was dirty, but he got the job done for us. Squad depth is important. So we can't just be saying, sell, let them go, and do what?
It's
so,
not
squad depth is important. We should.
It's vital.
Yeah, exactly. Again, Oliver Kahn was a better shot stopper than. Glenn, I'm going to fight you, really. And I know exactly what you did there. When you look at Reece James, people talk about how good he is. The likes of, again, of Vini and Leo, when he has an opposing player say it again, wow, what a player Mount is. One of the hardest players I've ever played against. I've heard Leo Messi say he's one of the up-and-coming best players, young talents. Haven't you heard that? And that's why I'm saying I'm heartbroken, really. I don't hate Mount. I don't think it's the best. I don't think it's the worst. But what I hate is the fact that he emerged onto the scene very early in his career. And at the time we had him at Chelsea, he was literally one of those carrying the club. So the managers didn't realize he needs more coaching than those responsibilities. Even with those responsibilities, he needed more coaching to become better. But not Lampard, not Thomas Tuchel. Even Potter hasn't done. Again, Potter values his energy more than the fact that at 23 he said needs more coaching. That's where it pains me. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Leo Messi mentioned him as one of the best up-and-coming players. Is he still that now? I wouldn't say that because nobody coached him well.
Coach, okay, what you've just said is completely 100% accurate, but you have to see it from a coach's perspective. Lampard.
Coach is not 23, he's 24.
Yeah, 24, yes, he's 24 right now. Yeah, sorry about that.
So you have to look at it from
Go
a
ahead,
coach's
Roger, if you want to add something so I can catch up with the chat. I really want us to move on from this Mount topic, but it's the elephant in the room. It keeps coming back. Just go ahead.
That £400 gorilla, yeah, I get it. Listen, I understand why you're criticizing those three coaches, but what do they all have in common? They all have in common is the fact that it's a win today business. They don't have the luxury of time to develop players in that regard. So you see someone that is industrious as him, for instance, hypothetically, and you're like, okay, so he's doing the very least that we need to do, because other players don't do that. And so therefore, because the modern game is about pressing. You know, if he was born in the 80s, he wouldn't be picked probably. The game has been transformed. So you critique the coaches, and rightfully so, but you have to see it from their point of view because they're not given the luxury of time, especially at this club. Especially. This club has been renowned for the owners pulling the trigger. That's all I'm playing devil's advocate. That's all I'm doing.
No, I understand. And I like that, again, because, again, we're trying to come to a sensible conclusion, and there's always something to learn. And the truth is, now you've made me understand it's not all down to the managers. They didn't have the luxury to develop young players. Here's the thing I want to say. This is something familiar, again, to something that happens in the movie industry, where you get stereotyped for a particular role. Or that, again, every other, again, exactly. Every other type, again, you could say whatever talent, again, beyond that stereotype, nobody sees it until you you stamp your feet and say, I'm done with this type of role. I want to show I'm capable of doing the other one.
That's a very good simile. That's a very good simile.
Yeah. Because again, I know why I'm using that analogy, and I'm going to say why. But again, we'll move on from that. This one says again, we have to sell most of the deadwood. We don't have much deadwood right now, really. Deadwood we have at the club again and use the money. But what I heard, we need to make some sales to balance the books, if that makes any sort of sense. Cannot wait for summer when 8 or 10 average players leave our football club and we can finally kick on. Again, the future is so bright that you need glasses so again it doesn't blind you. If we're being honest, my concern has always been the immediate future. So I'm looking forward to the future. Yeah, let's throw out debt out of the window. Yeah, I like how again when you say something, when Glenn wants to concur with you, with what you're saying, if he agrees with you, he comes in a sarcastic manner.
Oh yeah.
That's enjoyable. Wally Waldo, to be honest, I don't see where Mount fits in this squad again when every signing comes in. Let's see. We'll let that time happen. Kimso, nice to see you. Again, I hope you're doing well. Again, people bashing Aubameyang make me laugh. Oh, that's Aubameyang's lawyer. Definitely. I was saying I'm going to pay more attention. I think you love him so much that you always fight for him. Nobody passes the ball to him. When you have Mount as your creator or Gallagher, of course, you cannot score. Here's the thing. As much as I think Aubameyang hasn't really done well at Chelsea, the whole thing comes down to the lack of services. Again, at this age, he doesn't do too much running.
That's why you shouldn't have signed him.
Yeah, again, we need a lot. Again, signing him was a mistake. Maybe had the former manager continued, maybe he'd found a way to solve that. Yeah, again, it's not down to him really. But Kim's a great point right there. KK suffers again from the Thiago Silva complex. We saw this 92-year-old Brazilian come in, dominate everything. Then comes KK, a giant from Napoli, and we expected it to be the same again. Still, the first season. I think people are just again. I think it's typical of Chelsea fans. 1, 2, 3 bad performances, and it's all your fault, really. Remember the game he played centrally with again in a back three again against Wolves, and Chalobah played on the right hand side. He was perfect. He was near immaculate, but nobody pays attention to that. We kept whining again the ball back because of Martin Gallagher. Yeah. I'm not going to do that again once I go beyond this. I think Mount's confidence, again, is shot, to be honest. If he gets that back, I honestly think he would be praised. Getting it back, and to me, again, I am not selfish about Mount. I want him to do what that I think. But the fact remains if he goes to Liverpool, club's focus will still be on his energy and the amount of running he does. We need to be realistic. When Barkley... where Barkley again, realistic. Where Barkley is also our product, but if Mount isn't good enough to produce what we need, we'd let him go. Again, has more playing time, more than any other player. So it's simple. Not really that simple. Thank you, coach.
Barkley's
the lack of service. Tell them. Ziyech and Alba should work. And KK is not a bad defender. He's not at all. I still insist again, he is an upgrade to Rudiger. They're two different type of players. You can say Rudiger's aggression is more pronounced than his. His aggression is a bit subtle, and every now and then again, he hasn't gotten it right in the Premier League. He's gotten himself sent up, but not in that case. Some slight tackles again, he hasn't timed them perfectly. Probably because he hasn't adapted to the pace of the Premier League. Exactly, Glenn told you. Anybody want to say anything else? Want to move to the next topic? Please, no more Mount. No more Mount talk again, please. If anybody brings it up in the chat, I'm not going to read it. The next topic we have here, this one right here, again, Declan Rice favoring a move to Arsenal over Chelsea to work with Mykhailo Mudryk. That's the guy then. I don't know if you trust him. Roger, let me start with you since you joined late.
What about us acquiring Rice?
No, Declan Rice favoring a move to Arsenal over Chelsea.
Wow, yeah. No comment. That's his prerogative,
because this is no different from people saying he wants to join Chelsea. So that's why I'm saying there's no video or anything showing him saying he wants to join Chelsea. But go ahead. And do you trust the guy then? Then again, go ahead.
I mean, who's the source? I mean, I don't
The guy
know.
then.
It all depends, you know. I know he's very close with Mount, and I know he was a product of the academy when he was very young, so he's probably got some affection towards us in that regard, you know, deep down as a child, his childhood memories. But you know, I'm sure he's probably looking at it as a business decision. So it doesn't concern me either way, really, as long as he decides, if he does decide to come here, as long as he has his priorities set with us and no other team. That's all that I care about. I don't really pay much attention to this kind of, well, just social media.
Okay, let me ask you
speculation.
something specific. Let me ask you something now. And here's what I want to ask, and I still go to Ty. He hasn't said something. There's something I wanted him to say. He's so against certain Ziyech leaves. But I'll go back to my missed him. But let me ask you this before I go to Ty. Now, you said something. Every time we talk about, again, the possibility of us signing him, again, every panelist or maybe fans, most fans say, yeah, he joins us because he was an academy player. Do you think you could say he'd considered that more than he considers again playing time or where he fits in the best?
No, I think you're right about that. I think that's his first priority. I think second would be as a tiebreaker, perhaps. Listen, I don't know the chap, never met him. You'd have to ask him, but I think it would have some sort of influence, emotionally speaking, that's the case, perhaps. And that's purely speculative on my behalf. You would only assume because it's human nature. You know, if he's a Chelsea fan growing up and he played for the academy, you would assume he has a soft spot. If it came down to Team B and Chelsea, I mean, it's a safe assumption that he probably if all things else are equal, that he would maybe choose us based on that as a tiebreaker. One would assume, but hopefully he has his business hat on and that he's being logical when he makes a business decision, like moving to a certain club.
Sorry, I was on mute. I'm saying again, it is business for all parties involved, like you mentioned. The club, the player, even the agent gets in on the act. You understand? And to him, more importantly, where he goes fits in, and still be valued and still be a starter because he's English international too. That's very, very important to his decision making. Ty, if you're ready, I have just 2 or 3 comments to get to. Then now, I want you to start with the Ziyech one, then transition into talking about what's his name? Into talking about Declan Rice again, preference at what club he joins next. Again, all these players need time. They are young, and having one bad season doesn't mean they are not good enough. This is such a delicious comment. Gabriel Keita, I love that. When you don't judge a player by one season, Mount had a season where he was one of our best players, if we're being honest. But again, his problem is bigger than himself. Again, it's how the manager's not, again, the people not looking beyond his industry. Ziyech will work with Alba, but again, he just have a left-footed one. He cannot beat a player 1v1 or even direct play. What are we going to do? Just control and swing across this all season. Oh, PlayStation. I love that. I don't think we need a deal like Rice, to be honest. When we have, again, players like Gallagher and Mount, okay, I have little faith in the Enzo deal going through, probably, again, if anything, in the summer going through. So, again, I wouldn't mind Rice, depending on who leaves in the summer. Wow, that's a serious one. Enzo might be too much, too much money, but the Brighton guy overpriced all day, really. Roma ready to sign Hakim Ziyech on a permanent deal if Zaniolo leaves. That's if we want to sell. Rudiger only had one good season in Chelsea, so players also need time. KK will come through. Again, I think the manager knows that too. Ziyech, one that brings us creativity. He's the best creator we have right now in the team. All I have to say is, again, this is Chelsea Football Club. More importantly, Again, I don't know from what perspective you said that. I don't know. You let me know. Even again in the summer, coach. Again, I think something has been broken. We spent a lot of money already. It will be difficult to be spending that much money. That's by the way. So Ty, over to you if you're there. You can start with the Ziyech talk, then you transition into your thoughts on the Declan Rice rumor. Are you there, Ty? Okay, I think we have to move on. It doesn't look like he's there. Let's see, what else do we have here? Again, this one right here. Again, Bobby, did you speak? Bobby hasn't, yeah, let me have Bobby talk about the Declan Rice rumors. It'd be interesting to hear what he has to say. Bobby, your thoughts on the Declan Rice rumors? And even IVZ haven't spoken about that.
Well, excuse me, just a second. Beg your pardon.
You okay?
Yeah. Sorry,
Okay,
I was eating.
okay.
The Declan
Sorry
Rice
about
thing.
that.
The Declan Rice thing is, as you've said, it's a rumor, isn't it? You know, we live in in the information age, and when you want to create something, you start to create a narrative first, and this is where we are with this.
Exactly.
There's nothing about Declan Rice that has said to anybody that he wants to go to Arsenal. You know, the media, probably the Arsenal fans, probably their usual, you know, obsession and fixation on Chelsea, the spite about Mudryk and all that, so they concoct this Declan Rice issue. Now, that doesn't mean to say that if they bid for him, it wouldn't interest him. But the thing is, why Declan Rice is so strongly linked to Chelsea is not just because he was an academy product. After all, Noni was an academy product of Spurs and Crystal Palace. But because his family till today are all Chelsea fans, and many of them Chelsea season ticket holders, and he himself is a Chelsea fan. Now, does that mean he can't work for somebody else? Remember, football is his job. Of course it doesn't. You know, he's with West Ham. If Arsenal come with an attractive project and offer, which is likely, because it's likely they're going to have Champions League football next season. It's likely they're going to win the league. It's likely, you know, they have a nice project. Of course they do. For any footballer, anybody in that trade, it's a good project. So if they come for him, he will be tempted because he does want to leave West Ham. However, I believe, you know, even if Chelsea isn't in the Champions League somehow, if they come for him and Chelsea come for him, I still think, and it's just my opinion, I still think he'll come to Chelsea because he has that bigger pull, and he understands that the Chelsea project is never one to be scoffed at. It's always one that every player would want to join because it will lead to silverware. Now, the summer will tell. The biggest reason why this story is out there, and I think West Ham probably have something to do with it as well, is to sustain his value. They want to sell him for over 100, at least 100 million. And the only way you can do that is to create the mirage of this sort of bidding war competition for the player. So when they say he costs 100 million, Arsenal will say, oh, goodness, if we want him, we better pay this 100 million or Chelsea will get him. And Chelsea will say, oh, goodness, if we want him, we better pay this 100 million or Arsenal will get him. That's what this is about, money.
Yeah, it makes sense. So there's a chance of sponsoring, again, that narrative to help drive up the price. It makes sense. Again, there's no way to verify that in fact he prefers joining Arsenal. And some will come out swinging and say no, he prefers Chelsea. He's friends with Mason Mount, and again a multitude of perspective to see it from, and construct a solid argument as to what you think he does. This whole Mason Mount debate and Kai Havertz, I understand the frustration, but Roger hit the nail right on the head again when he said Lamb's TT and Porter have in common? Not giving time to managers. So DJ, you just joined. All you decide to do is just praise Roger. Not even say, big up coach, you make a good point. Okay.
Checks in the mail, DJ. Checks in the mail.
I'll move on. That's fine. That's fine by me. And Courtney says the players go and players come, coach. Yep. Chelsea remain Chelsea. No matter who you are, you come and go. Whether again you were born again on the cup and proper again, it doesn't make any difference. One day you still leave the club. But that's by the way. Forget Rice. Move on. Let's move on. Really again. This is why we're seeing them falling backwards. I have said this, and I will continue stating this again. Give Mason Mount and Kai to Pep and Klopp again. I said again. I don't want to get into that argument. And I get your argument, DJ. We should support the players as long as they're here. Critique the players, but don't again slander. I'm not into that myself. So big up. Let's move on from the Mount topic. Actually, Arsenal wants to sign him out of spite. that sounds about right, Roger. Well, what do you think? Roger, does that sound correct to you?
You know what? There's
Let me be clear. I didn't say Arsenal.
No. I'm saying that's what Thomas Bay is saying. Thomas Bay is saying Arsenal wants to sign him out of spite.
Yeah, I'm saying the story is being peddled out of spite. They're two different.
Yeah,
things.
we know, but he's saying that.
Oh, okay.
He's saying specifically that's what they're doing. Roger, you wanted to add to that?
No, not really. I think Bobby nailed it on the head. Really did. He hit it out the ballpark.
Yeah, but this is hilarious, and I love it. Facts. Again, Arsenal will beat 17 million. Let them take him for that price. Really, again, as much as I know he's a good player, but I don't think he fits into how we want to play, really. But I don't want to get into that. Again, we beat 75 million, he says. Again, for who? I really want to know. 75 million for who? I don't know, really. Again, hi, guys. Lusala, it's been a minute. I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for finding the time to join the show. And you should be careful, again, the language you're using so that, again, the machine doesn't time you out. Or don't use more than one emoji, more than 3 emojis. The machine will time you out. It's not a human being. It will time you out, really. Again, I'm being serious. And again, don't use more than 2 emojis. Just use one. The machine, it's not a human being before you start fighting. Suleiman Jaita says, guys, we almost forgot the number all by swearing. Number 9. Kim, so again, you'd need to change his number if he's willing. Again, if he's willing to help. If not, I would drag him out of my team. Yes, then the number 9 shirt thing is not an issue. Tammy Abraham thrived with it. The second season where he faltered, was because again we made a few new signings and we started seeing Lampard started using him less and less and less. Probably, I don't know if he was pressured to use the big money signings or so. Guys, why not try to get a Chiesa from Juve now? I'm not sure if the club wants him. That's the question. And Kerry Vaughan, I think this is the first time I'm seeing you here. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. And guys, if you're watching, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. This whole month debate, it's a pain. I am too. And honestly, I'm going to start avoiding. Out of respect, I had to read DJ's comment. Out of respect, for being honest, I'm sick. I'm sick of it. They cannot just give it a rest, concentrate on the club and not one player. As simple as that. Hey, guys, please keep liking the stream. Let's get to 200 as soon as possible. We need 51 more likes to get it to 200. And I know we can get there, but I really want us to end this one on time so we can go enjoy the games. I know we like watching other teams' games. No shooting from distance is an advice from coaches. It's an advice from coaches at Chelsea. Good question. Gallagher found himself in a position Lampard would have tested the goalkeeper, but then I think, again, you could say lack of shooting from outside the box is something that the manager himself he has to look into it. But I don't expect Jorginho to get a score from outside the box. Or maybe Kovacic every now and then pulls off a wonder. Collector's item, if you want to phrase it that way. But that's by the way, IBC, again, welcome back. You went out, I don't know, maybe you had a connection issue. your thoughts on the Declan Rice rumors. We have about, again, 2 more important topics to touch, and we call it a day.
I think you should move on. I'm having a little bit of issues. I'm downloading something.
Okay,
so, yeah,
okay.
Just move on
Okay,
with
thank
it.
you for saying that.
No problem.
Yeah, let's go to talking about, again, Mario Gusta. This guy here. He's just 19. Conflicting reports. Some say we're already talking with his camp, but he's a fine player. Again, a great technical ability. Chelsea are monitoring Malo. Not that I don't know if it's pronounced Gusto or Gusto. I don't know if it is Malo or whatever. Again, so apologies if I'm butchering his name. He's on the list alongside Dumfries and others. Let's see next week on Gusto's deal. No club to club contact yet. So a lot of mix up that. The initial rumors were that, again, we're already talking with his camp and all that. Roger, I don't know. Do you know him? Is he a player you know?
Yeah, his name is pronounced Smith. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know him at all. I'll be honest with you.
Okay, maybe Ty, do you know him? Do you want to talk about him? I don't know if Ty is even close to his desk. Okay, it doesn't look like it. Let me look at some updates here. I'm looking at one update here. Just quickly, let's talk about that. It's about Romeo Lavia. It says again, Romeo Lavia still sits near the top of Chelsea's list for a future move, while Cody O'Connor was recommended by the scouting team and is also liked by Christopher Vivell, who is again landing a bulk of the behind-the-scenes work right now. Yeah, good scouting work. That's what I like. And but that's, by the way, I don't think there's anything else serious to talk about. Or Roger, you want to bring up any topic you want us to talk about so we can round off with that one?
Yeah, we haven't spoke about Mason Mount in a long time. No. Listen,
Roger, look, just don't do that to me, really.
I have to bust your chops, sir. I have to.
Oh my goodness! Don't do that. Just go ahead, brother.
No, all I have to say is I actually seriously 100% agreed with everybody this morning when they were talking about this topic. I thought it was well articulated. It really was, and it was logical. You know, you both all had valid points, and there's nothing more I could add to it. It was perfectly stated. Listen, he divides the fan base. It's simple as that. I really like what we're doing as a team thus far with regards to the back office, Vivell and Morgan Stanley, or Win Stanley, whatever his name is. I think I like the direction we're going in. I think it's a lot of critics say that we use a scattergun approach, but I like what we're doing. I want us to progress. And I don't think we need to be splashing the cash, hopefully, that much anymore going forward. I think we have to be sustainable. But listen, I'm really optimistic about our immediate and long-term future. I really am. I can't wait to.
The immediate is becoming better. The new
really
signings was signed. It's given me hope for the immediate future. But go ahead.
Even my client seems to be more passionate on the sideline. You know, he seems
and you know why?
be,
he's paying attention, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, well, I think. Listen, I've never coached at that level. I've coached, but certainly not at this level. And I think you need time to understand certain players and philosophies and so forth. It's you can't just come in and listen. What Tuchel did is he correctly observed the fact that we were leaking goals for fun. And so he addressed that immediately. And he basically went back to basics. And, you know, he brought in Rudiger, and Rudiger bore fruit for us. And, you know, so that was very identifiable because of our lack of clean sheets. Well, that hasn't been the case for the most part. In fact, we've been quite good defensively, and now we're reverting. Now we've got 2 games consecutively clean sheets, so I'm pleased about that. True, we're not scoring enough goals, nowhere near enough. However, you know, maybe I'm being biased, but as a keeper, this is what we need to do. You don't lose games if you don't concede. Simple as that. So
yeah, and this is Kieran Vaughan appreciating the work we're doing here He says, "Yes, I'm new here again, and thanks and keep up the good work." Malo is a good player, but defensively needs a lot of development. Yeah, again, and the fact that he needs a lot of development, that begs the question, Roger, is he really the player we need right now? For signing him, probably it should be for long term. I think if anybody is close to again, would be close to again getting the job done defensively and also offensively. To me, that guy is Dumfries, really. So Roger, given this comment on the screen here, the fact that he needs a lot of he needs a lot of development. Should we even be considering him as a competition for Reece James?
Well, I think Vivell and company, they have to look at players in three categories: short term, medium term, and long term. It's simple as that. So you have to you have to scout / acquire players based on those three different time criterias. So if he's for long term, then you know what? Acquire him, put him in the B team. You know, he's under 21, I assume. So and he could fit into the long term. Yeah, it's up to the scouting people to determine how soon. Well, it's a risk because he doesn't play in the Premier League, does he? So that's another huge transition, moving to a new culture, a new country, and the speed of and physicality of the Premier League. So in all likelihood, I don't think that would fit our criteria, because I believe we need someone immediately for the next 2 to 3 years to be a rotational player with Reece. But you can also acquire him for long term, you know, so it depends on their strategy, sir. But you're right, though, this needs to be addressed immediately, not the midfield, the right back, because with Reece, if he starts playing in 2 to 3 weeks' time and he gets hurt again because he's being overplayed, then throw your season away. Just be resigned to the fact that we're not the same team without Kanté and Reece. Simple as that. This is immediate. This is, to me, our number one priority. This position.
It should be. We need immediate solution. Because Reece James is just coming back yesterday. He's been training. So there's no guarantee how effective he will be at this point. Maybe it takes time for him to come back again fully fit. It makes sense. Let's look at his numbers. Look at his numbers. Again in League O. Again for 2021, 2020, 2021, just 2 games. Probably that was when he emerged.
Is this the chat for Lille?
Lyon.
Oh, Lyon. Okay.
Lyon. Yeah. So look at it again. 2 games, 0 goals. Again, 2 games. I wouldn't judge him. 21, 22, 30 games, 0 assists. Again, 0 goals, 4 assists. That's a high. Again, in 30 games, that's fine. Again, that's acceptable. That's not far-fetched from what Reece James achieved 2 years ago, but no goals. In 50 games this season, 1 assist, 0 goals. I think he's done well for himself. But again, you can see that he's still, maybe it should be a little bit more. So this is that of Denzel Dumfries, which is the other guy that being rumored that to be on the list of right back / right wing back players that the club is considering. 21-22 when he joined Inter, in 33 matches he scored 5 goals and 4 assists. That's again close to what Reece James had. Let me check to be sure. What year? 21, 22? Yes, yep. Yeah, Reece James had 5 goals. 5 goals and 9 assists. So he's better than all of them. But the closest to him is Dumfries with 5 goals and 4 assists. This season, 17 matches, 1 goal and 2 assists. So looking at the number, if you're basing on the numbers, plus Dumfries is 26, we have to mix it up with experience. To me, that's why he's the first choice. Maybe if we sign again, Gusto, we'll let him stay on loan there. Maybe I don't know what to do. We can have 3 of them because Reece can play in other positions. What do you think?
That's a possibility, Coach. You know, in that position, traditionally, they're not goal scorers, you know, unless you're an Alonso or a Reece. But I'm more concerned with the assists they make. You're right. That position is all about defending and getting to the byline and crossing the ball for assists. And that position requires the assists statistics. I think that's
if you can
so
get
crucial.
if you can get goals, it's a plus.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. That to me is not the main criteria. It's the assist, in my opinion, and also obviously defensively, they have to be sound defensively. You know, because that's also a huge priority for them. You can't just be like a Trent Alexander, where I honestly think he's one of the best crossers of the ball I've ever seen. He's amazing, but defensively, he's a liability. You know, he just
defensively
is.
just seems as if he can. He says to the opposition player, "Just go ahead, do whatever you
Yeah,
want to do with the
half
ball.
the
Leave me
time he
alone."
doesn't. Half the time he doesn't even track back, and then when he is tracked back, he often is caught ball watching. He loses his marker constantly. I mean, it's
Mhm.
just fundamentally speaking, for the fundamentals training, that's it's not acceptable. But man, going forward, the man can whip in the ball. He can score from free kicks. You know, he actually should be in midfield more than anything. He should be a number 8. He shouldn't be in that position. In fact, he used to play in that position, and it shows. But you know, we need someone that can defend. You know, should we say competently at the very least, if not excel, and then produce 4 to let's say 8 assists a year. Then this is what we need as a rotational player at the very least.
Yeah,
But they
I
must
think
be.
Denzel is the
They
guy.
must have
To me.
legs. Yeah, and they must be able to defend. If you can't defend, you know, if that's your weakest part of the game, then I'm sorry, I don't want that. I want someone that is more emphasis on defense, and you know, you don't have to be a great crosser of the ball, but you have to have speed and get to the byline. That's what I
Yep, I
want.
agree with you. Yep, I agree with you. In the case of again Moises Caicedo, some good news for us. But even if it doesn't happen right now, I think it's still. I don't know in the summer whether there'll be other clubs vying for his signature. But right now, some good news for us. I'm hearing that the Brighton are on the verge of signing the supposed replacement for him, which means that they fear that he may well end up leaving this window. Because if they're able to get the player in question, if they wrap up the signing of that player in question for 5 point something million, I heard, which means again they'd be willing to let him go because they want to sell him and get a lot of money from him. Also, again, we're hearing that we're planning to go back again to go test the waters, like the media phrased it. Test the waters with a much improved offer. I think that this time £65 million.
Yeah, that's what I read
Did you
also.
follow the story and what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen him 4 or 5 times this season, so for what I have seen, yes, he's. Yeah, I have to put the numerical value out of the window and just look at the actual player because I still can't wrap my mind around this monopoly. You know, money. It's just obscene. But as a player, I think A, he's young, and B, I think his upside is there. Um, listen, and it's unfair for me to compare him to Kanté, but I think he's a huge upgrade on anything we have. Let's put it that way. But that doesn't really speak much, does it? When you think about
No,
it.
but I get your point.
I mean, you know, it's
Yeah.
listen, we're in this situation because we've only had one addition to our midfield since 2018, and that was Kovacic on loan, and then we exercised the contract, the privilege to buy him. That's what in 5 years, 4.5 years, we've only had one acquisition in midfield. So this is where the previous administration has failed us in that regard. So and we're reaping what we've sown because of that. So this needs to be addressed, and this should never happen again. Especially what I consider to be probably the most important area of a team, the engine on the field, in my opinion, the midfield. Every dominant, successful team, especially in Europe, they all have one thing in common: they have an exceptional midfield. It's simple as that. And for us to have, shall we say, regressed in that regard, I think that's criminal.
Yeah. Again, that's by the way. We'll move on from that one. And again, Bobby, I don't know. Let me know if you want to speak on again on where we're at with the clubs on Moises Caicedo pursuit. I want to get your thoughts. Chalobah can fill the role of right back to the end of the season. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, I think. I mean, in my opinion, the acquisition of Moises Caicedo is crucial. It's imperative, and if rumours are correct, this week I understand the club is about to increase their cash bid by 10 million and balance the rest with bonus and incentives or add-ons, as using football finance speak. Look, as Roger said, we haven't done anything in the midfield since 2018. It's a delicate area. Why it's probably taken us some time this window is because it needs to be done carefully, because it's such an important area in the field, and you must have the right person there. So I think we should make that bid for him. I think midfielders are going to become far more expensive over the summer. It's the summertime is when the cost will fly up. There's the Bellingham issue. There is the Enzo. I still think we're very interested in Enzo, but
You
if we
think
leave
so?
it, yes, I do for sure. I think we will. It will be Caicedo and another eventually, not just Caicedo. And if we leave Enzo till the summer, his price, well, he has a release clause, doesn't he? So that will become more riveted because they would want that to be unchanged. And it'll become, well,
Who do you prefer, Bellingham or Enzo?
Well, a good question. For me, I'm English league. I want us to. I think if you're not in control of your bread and butter, anything else is almost irrelevant. It's excellent to be able to do everything else, but everything else becomes a one-off. And I think Enzo would be excellent for something like the Champions League. But if it becomes a choice between him and Bellingham for your Premier League day-to-day stuff and the hustle and bustle, which you will get definitely, especially if your name is Chelsea, physicality always trumps. So I would go for Bellingham ahead of him. I think he is a better baller, but I think physically and putting everything together as a complete midfielder, Bellingham will probably fit the mold better for both Europe and the Premier League. That's it. I just think if he's left, if we get him, which I hope we do, in Premier League games, he will need protecting. You need that. It's like with Fabregas. When we had Fabregas was an excellent midfielder, but he needed protecting. Fabregas could never play with Kante. Whenever we played Fabregas and Kante together, we got unstuck. Why? Because there were two little guys in the middle of the field, and people just bullied us. But when we played Fabregas with Matic, it was a whole different story. Matic was the man. He would sit back, he would hold, and Fabregas was left to be able to do things. So that would be the case. However, having said that, I don't think they're stupid, which takes us to that right back situation. I don't know anything about Malo Gusto, to be fair. He's all I know is that he's a Lyon right back. He's doing well with Lyon, and I have faith in Christopher Vivell and Paul Winstanley. I think they're excellent at what they do, and the scouting team we have assembled are proving their worth. Aside from the fact that he's he's got a good reputation as in Lyon, I tend to not not doubt French defenders. Defenders from the French league tend to be able to know how to live with the English league. I think because physicality is not something they're unaccustomed to, if you know what I mean. Same with their midfielders. They know how to live in England because they're used to that, the meaty side of the game, as it were.
French league is the closest to the Premier League in that regard. You're right.
Well, the Portuguese may dispute that, but I think you're right. I think in terms of Europe and in terms of the sort of ferocity of play, they are probably the closest. Nobody can quite be like the English league, but they are the closest. That's why their players are able to cope better. In my opinion, some people may think differently.
No, I
You know,
agree.
but Portuguese players don't do badly, but sometimes they need time, or sometimes they look a bit delicate. So this guy, on that basis alone, I would trust any. We haven't made a bid yet, by the way, but I would trust any decision going towards him. I mean, Dumfries is the known player, isn't he? He's the name.
Mhm.
He's the one that we all know what he can do. And but the thing is, he adds more zeros to our financial outlay. And what's the point in spending money when you've got something that is cheaper and can do exactly the same thing? It's like Badia Shah. We went for him because he's cheaper, and apparently he seems to be able to do the same thing as Vardio, so to speak. I mean, I don't know. I still think Vardio is an excellent defender, and I
No,
still
that
think,
doesn't take away the fact that Vadio is good, equally good. But there's no telling who's better right now. Go ahead.
but he was bought as a cheaper option. It doesn't mean to say that we have lost interest in Vardio, but what it means to say is that we're not going to be held to ransom. We'll get him if the opportunity arises, but if they want us to go into silly money, forget it, because there's no need for us to do that. So, back to the midfield, there are options. And if we've got right back options, Reece can go into midfield very comfortably. I mean, he probably is the profile of midfield creator and general
That we're
that we
looking
don't
for.
have. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's just like Trent Alexander. He could fit into a midfield and excel in any team in the Premier League.
You think so?
Yeah,
All right,
we
let
used
me
to play
catch up with the
midfield.
chat real quick. Roger, you wanted to add to what Bobby said?
No, as usual, disgustingly so.
Yeah,
I
We're on
agree
the
with
I
same
every
agree.
page.
syllable he uttered.
Say
yet
you
again.
disagree and I'll kick you out.
Yeah, it's sickening. It's sickening. But
It
yeah,
is indeed. Yeah,
No, but
awkward indeed.
yeah.
James Smith, 60 games. Sorry, were you saying something, Roger?
Yeah, just I mean, I can't fault what Bobby has said. It's pretty logical.
Yeah. James Smith, 60
not
games
it's,
plus for
it's not a
Chelsea.
bad thing, Roger.
No, it's not. It's not. Through injuries, we absolutely need a good, again, not backup. We need good competition for him. We need an equally good player, a player that can push him to become even better. So when he gets injured, we'll show when the quality will not drop. The quality will still be there, maybe in a different way, maybe not. Again, yeah, that's why we don't use the term backup here. We use competition or rotational player for him. This speaker is speaking 100%. I think he was talking about you, Roger, and I'm jealous. Anytime you want to say again, good job to Roger or Bobby, start from saying good job, coach, before then. That way I don't block you.
You know what they should say? They should say good job, coach, for bringing up these excellent paddles.
Yeah,
So
exactly. For getting to know, for knowing them. Give me some credit, man. PlayStation, please.
No respect, huh?
Again, PlayStation says like insightful and enlightening. Yeah, that's the truth. Roger always and Bobby, they're both very experienced, and again, they present their cases from again, you can say from an intellectual perspective. That when you look at it, you learn. But sometimes they can use big words to bamboozle you into abandoning your own opinion. That makes
Me no English.
Yeah, me no English at all. Like insightful and enlightening, he should speak more, please. No, don't say that.
Checks in the mail.
Now he's gonna be asking for £300,000 a week because he feels important. Don't do that here. I don't care about his opinion or choices about players, but Bobby is spotted. No, Bobby can. Bobby is again he's a good speaker and knows what he's talking about. So he's enjoyable to listen to, if I'm being honest. Not Bobby again at the okay, just going back and forth. They're all good. They're all good, and I know you know that. But you just play again. We play here. That's what we do. Chalobah is good enough to play right back. He's done quite well there. Mountain Havertz can play in midfield number 8. We also going to have Kante, Carney, and Kovacic. I don't know his name. One who spoke about a CFC signing only midfielders again cover since 2018. I didn't know again. His name is Roger. His name is Roger. And if you're on Twitter, let me know. Let me share the again. I can share. Yeah, I can share the handle of both speakers and Titalk's Twitter handle too, so you can follow them. Let me try and do that in a bit.
Coach, can I ask a
yes,
question very briefly, Bobby?
Mhm.
Unlike the NFL, there's a weekly report that, as a manager, head coach, you have to put down your roster's injuries. We don't have that in the Premier League, do we? There's no mandatory list, because I want to know what's going on with Chalobah, and there seems to be a lack of information coming forward about certain players that are injured. Why is that?
Well, I think, sporting cultures are different in different areas, aren't they? Different parts of the world.
Of course. Yeah.
In America, the NFL is so physical and brutal. It's about physicality, isn't it? So
it's a full contact sport. Yeah,
exactly. So it's like boxing. You need to know who has a hand injury, because sometimes the injuries can actually stop the fight from going ahead. So
sure.
It's a different focus. Whereas football, the injuries are usually consequential, and they're not deliberate. NFL, the injuries are actually deliberate. Sometimes you go there to hurt the opposition, and you certainly do in boxing.
Yeah.
So I think that's that. It's the culture. It's a different culture. There's no need to put out a list of football injuries, and you find that. Do you know what? These footballers, by the middle of the season, all of them are playing with injuries. It's just a matter of who can go through the pain barrier. They're playing with one thing or another, and they keep
Do you
playing.
think Chalobah's injury is it muscular?
I don't know. It's strange. It looks that way, doesn't it? But it's best to check on the fifth stand. Sooner or later, they'll put something out. He did tweet, and I noticed, if you see a lot of the comments to his tweets, and including myself, people asking, "Are you all right? What's happening with your injury?" and that, but he didn't reply.
Because these innocuous injuries where there's no contact and the player goes down, these are usually the worst.
It would seem that way, isn't it? Certainly at Chelsea, they're the ones that keep players out for at least a month, and that's a problem, in my opinion. I don't know why we're having so much of that.
Yeah, it's getting old fast.
Yeah.
All right, let me catch up. Let me catch up while we have Roger. Please just give me 1 second.
Sorry, Coach.
I don't. Again, we've talked about that. I've shared the link to both of your Twitter accounts, so you can go follow them. Mine. You want again. Bella says again. Bella says it. Okay, I'm not sure what you're saying there. PlayStation, can you elaborate? Have you seen Enzo chase you down the line? They're going to win the ball back and throw again a crazy spine pass down the wings. I think, because of his size, probably people don't give him much credit in terms of his physicality. I think he's physical, he's quick. He don't muscle him off the ball easily. Man does that effortlessly. But again, I get your point though. Yeah, again, that Kante's again. That's Kante's fault. Dude, just too good. Made it recruiting midfielders hard to match the quality. Honestly, that's a solid argument.
So true.
Yeah, it is. It is a solid argument indeed. James could be a DM. He would play like Enzo in the DM role. He played there for, was it Wigan? Nearly the whole season, if my memory serves me correctly, and he did quite well there. So we need both Enzo and Caicedo, one of them possibly. And the question is, I wouldn't want us, if we sign Enzo, to play him that deep. I want us to play him closer to the final third because he's a good finisher. He's got a good eyes for goals. That's the case again. J5 will need to leave, and Kante, and maybe again keep Gallagher and Ruben Loftus-Cheek to back up also a play Mount in the midfield alongside Enzo. That's a solid argument too. Let me see anything else here to address. I think this one here too much. Too much injuries. Yeah, from James. Yeah, it's becoming concerning. I hope. Has he gone under the knife? Because if he's gone under the knife, maybe the problem is solved. You don't know. But that's, by the way, Roger, your final thoughts. Again, anything else you want to talk about so we can call it a day?
No, I think I'm just interested to see where we go in the future. I like our direction from the last two games. especially Gallagher, even though it was an indifferent performance in some regards. But listen, we played an out of form team away and in a very hard environment, and I thought we did quite well. I'm really looking forward to the next couple of weeks resuming our play and see where we go. Listen, when is the window closed? The end of this month, yes?
31st, I think.
So we've got like 10 days or so, or a week actually, I guess, and then we'll see. Then it'll have a settled squad per se, and we can progress forward. So it's interesting. Good times ahead, I think, if you're a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, good times ahead indeed. And then I couldn't say that even. I couldn't say that better. Bobby, your thoughts, your final thoughts before we call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, talking of midfield, I'm actually watching Leeds and Brentford. I'm trying to keep a bit of an eye out to this Adams chap, the American.
The American?
Oh, yeah. There's been no indication of interest in him, but it could be worth. He could be a dark horse. He could be worth a look. Anyway, to see if he can fit in.
Yeah, I see it that way too. Again, he's underrated. He did well at the World Cup, but beyond that, he's been doing well for Leeds. He's the ones again. He succeeded. What's his name? The one that went to Manchester City, and he's done quite well for them, really, if we're being honest. But that's by the way. Again, please go ahead, Roger.
You're referring to Phillips.
No. I'm referring to the American international that plays in the midfield
he succeeded area. Calvin Phillips. Yes.
Phillips, yeah, he succeeded.
Yeah. Okay, I'm talking about Phillips. Yeah, he succeeded. Calvin Phillips. Yeah, and he's done quite well, really. He's mobile, he's quick, he's physical, reads the game quite well, and leads. He leads too. He doesn't just play in the midfield area. He leads, but maybe I'm quite sure, if the club lets Christian Pulisic leave, they've been looking for another big name American player, and to me, I think he's next to him in terms of where he is at his career at this stage. Again, yes, guys, please like and subscribe if you haven't. And also, if you haven't, also know it's a daily show, starts 11 a.m. UK every day, sometimes a bit late, like 11:30. It depends because it's early morning for me, 3 a.m. to be precise. Yeah, that's why, again, sometimes if I don't wake up properly, I wait a bit. We have, again, to follow each other in all platforms. We have to Suleiman Jatai. Follow me and let me know. Send me a message. Say, again, Trust Perspective. You follow me and I'll follow you back. You'll find just search out Trust Perspective on Twitter. Follow, again, the two gentlemen here that I've shared the link to their Twitter account. Follow them too. So thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that. As a Chelsea fan, one family. Much love. Again, the club is what we love. Players come, players go, like Courtney said. So big up to you, Suleiman Jaita. Nice to see you. And big up to the captain of the house, Liam Lane. I appreciate that. Big up to Bobby. Big up to Roger. Again, taking all the credit today from those in the chat that I became jealous. But that's, by the way, again, I'm joking, but much love to them. They know what they're talking about. Kerry Vaughan, big up to you for staying till now. And Goodies, thank you so much. To everyone else in the chat, again, PlayStation, and Kimso, and Glenn, Lusala. Liam Lane, as usual, my brother. Where's Glenn? I can't find him. DJ Saab, Courtney, everyone else. Apologies if I missed you. I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and bye.
Bye-bye.